Hey, folks, welcome back to World Class Bullshitters, the epitome of pop culture. Tonight is a celebration, not of just one of the most important films of all time, but one of my friends that I've made through the channel. Everybody knows him, everybody loves him. It's his birthday. Everybody, let's say happy birthday to our good friend, American Trent 007.
Hey guys, how you doing?
So, Trent, this was a Patreon request by you. You wanted to spend your birthday evening with the bullshitters, well, at least me, and we were going to talk about one of your favorite movies, one of the most important experiences in your entertainment viewing life. So, tell the listeners out there what that is.
Well, that is simply Star Wars, also known as Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope, and I will say it is the most important viewing experience in entertainment for me. My favorite movie of all time. Story is I first saw it on the same format I'm watching it on tonight. The 2004 DVD release of the original trilogy came out September 21st, and I believe my birthday was on, I think, that Thursday. So I ended up, I think, getting this on the night before my birthday or the night of, and putting in this movie and seeing obviously A New Hope first, and I was sold on it and just taken by what Star Wars was and truly is in its purest form. Just the greatest single viewing experience. And I love the other movies, but I'm with you on this one, Jeff. I know I've documented it many times. This first one's a complete story, and it's perfect. It's something that I remember that day so vividly, and the next day getting the toys, and the fact that it happened around my birthday, and the fact that Star Wars is in the predicament it is now with the current Disney situation. It's good to go back and see what truly is nothing short of perfection.
So I'm so glad that somebody else feels the way I do, at least in terms of importance and impact. I know a lot of people out there that are older than me remember when it was just Star Wars. That was it. There was no Empire, no Jedi. When I first saw the movie on VHS back in '95, I didn't know there was Empire and Jedi. I had just seen clips from Muppet Babies, and I had seen the movie proper. So I didn't really know too much about Star Wars. But I remember distinctly the day this DVD came out because it was one of the first things I ever ordered from Amazon. And it was a Tuesday. And this was back after. So my uncle was diagnosed with cancer in like mid 2004. And so on Tuesdays, my mom would go over and make him dinner. So we'd cook for him and his kids and my grandma who lived with him too. And I'll never forget, we usually would stay over to watch Big Brother or some TV show. But that week, I was like, Mom, I have to get home. Star Wars is going to be on the porch. And so I was a sophomore in high school, and I stayed up to watch A New Hope because I had never seen it in widescreen before. And I was beyond excited. And the one thing I remember is that it skipped between chapters. Like, so you know when you watch a movie, sometimes there's like a brief pause before it jumps to the next chapter?
Occasionally, yeah.
That's I'll never forget when I watched it the first time on DVD as Tarkin goes Terminator immediately and it jumps to the Falcon jumping or cutting out of light speed. That like it froze for some reason. That's like stuck in my brain to this day. But yeah, man, this movie, I have the poster, I get the toys, I love the costumes, all that stuff. It's the most iconic movie. And the weird thing is too, when I was putting up the tweet for tonight's show, I had a little GIF of Han, Luke, Obi-Wan, and Chewbacca and the Falcon, and they were like, messing around between the take. And it's just so like even outtakes of this movie are iconic. Like every frame can be a postcard, a lobby card, something. This movie is one of the few movies in the history of film that is so perfect on every level. So we're going to be talking about that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it. I mean, the one thing's, obviously, if you collect everything Star Wars, I mean, like good Star Wars, I'm talking about episode 1 through 6, that Darth Vader story overall. And from a collector's standpoint, that's almost impossible. So what I like to focus on, especially now, because that Hot Toys money, it's a devil.
Oh, I know.
Stuff from this first movie. If I see anything A New Hope that I don't already own, I will pick it up. Anything new that's made from A New Hope, I'll pick up. The other stuff, in the future, maybe there's other things. Life finds a way. Ian Malcolm, life finds a way to take your money. So you got focus. So definitely be this movie because it is special. Now you mentioned widescreen. I'm watching on the full screen, which I know now because back then we had the old big box RCA TV. With this widescreen TV I got right now, it doesn't look as good, but still, it's just having that same disc. And it's like I've held this 14 years ago. It's this movie just will be special because of that. At same reason I think that Return of the Jedi is special for Dion. First one you see, the first experience.
Oh, definitely. This one is just never been topped. I always say Back to the Future is my favorite movie, but nothing like I don't feel as much as I do when I watch Star Wars. Like that one, the ending, it literally ends with a bang. It's just so good on every level. I think honestly, it's because of all the stupid special edition changes that I have fallen out of love with this movie just slightly enough to make it my number two. So I know a lot of people are like, man, that seems so harsh, but George Lucas messed with it so much. I mean, how much can I just be okay with? It's like, well, now there's rocks in front of R2D2 and this and that. There's just so many dumb things they've done to alter this
honestly,
film.
I think wasn't the rocks in front of R2 in the complete saga thing from 2011
2011.
or 2011, 2012? Yeah. Okay. This one's still. I think this is essentially the 97.
Well, there's some
with a few little additions like in sound.
There's a new Job of the Hutt. We'll talk about that as we get more into your when we get into it. Now, folks, a lot of people are thinking, what's going on tonight? Here's how this is. This is a hybrid commentary. So in the chat, you can join us. I'll have a timestamp to watch the movie. But if you don't want to, I'll be paying attention to the chat. So basically, I want to hear about your first experiences with this franchise and why you still care and why you fight the good fight against The Last Jedi and all the garbage. Because World Class Bullshitters is a community first and foremost. We all care about each other. It's a really good place to be online. And Star Wars seems to be the thing that brings us together. So throughout the night, I'd like you guys to tell me how you experienced it and stuff like that. And I'll make sure to pay attention to this as well as the movie. So Trent, what else would you like to say before we start the film proper? Because I could watch this movie every day and not get bored of it.
Well, that's what I essentially did for the first week of owning this set. It was every day was a new hope. I mean, obviously watched it first, went to the whole trilogy in one night. Next day was New Hope. Started Empire, didn't finish it. Next day, New Hope, New Hope, New Hope. Toys R Us, okay, New Hope, New Hope. It's kind of, we know Lucas, messed up, and now retrospect, hey, I mean, we got the Disney situation, so that kind of it doesn't take away from what he ended up doing in the movies, but in reality, at least he didn't kill it. He just kind of screwed up some shit, but he didn't kill it. I do hope that we eventually get the original theatrical releases out, because I think the 82 edits are like the one that's out now, like I think on the 2006 DVD release. But those 82 edits, I think it's called episode 4 in that one, so it's not even the pure theatrical release.
No.
Okay, yeah, that's why I had heard. One day I hope we do get those Blu-ray or 4K. That'd be great.
I have I have the Despecialized edition, which is technically 1080p. Here's the thing: there are certain moments that I prefer the DVD Blu-ray cut, and there are some that I prefer in the original. So maybe
one day flying out.
I'll talk to Ivan Ortega, and I'll have him help me edit my own cut of Star Wars, and then I'll share it for free, because that is legal to share fan edits of films as long as I'm not making a profit from it. So There we go. Yeah, Rich 556 says, saw it in 1977. One of the few good memories of my childhood. Love the channel. Rich 556, thank you very much for that super chat. It is a great memory. I wish you had more though, man. But you know what? Let's make some new ones here on World Class Bullshitters.
Amen. And you know what? I do say, we mentioned Lucas. This whole movie was an underdog experience. You see how the production of it, just trying to get it made. The stuff with Kenner. I think was it Mego turning down the toys and all that.
Everybody's
trying to get this thing. Yeah, everyone turned everything down. Just the fact this thing existed was kind of like, okay, we believe in something. We're not independent, and we got 20th Century Fox, gonna release this. But other than that, it was essentially just a labor of love. Very similar to something you're doing, with Captain. Was doing Solo, Captain's Parody. It's something where it's like, this is a good story, and be damned, we're getting it out there, and it hit. So, guys, I went ahead and I backed Stealing Solo. I recommend you guys do check out the artwork. It's on Indiegogo, and if you want to see some real respect paid to Harrison Ford, like you'll see him in this movie, don't see Force Awakens. Read the comic book, or also watch this movie, because this is my favorite Han, just because he shoots Greedo first, and Greedo never gets a shot off, because that's how it should be.
To those listening out there questioning, we're watching the 2004/2011 DVD or Blu-ray cut. So this is the special edition. The theatrical cut technically doesn't exist on DVD. There is the 1981 home release version. So if you're watching like the Laserdisc and stuff, you can basically watch the 97 on. It's the same runtime. All the special edition changes were just updated with CGI. So if you've picked up a copy of Star Wars in the last 21 years on home video, you have this edit available to you, because this is what I have on Blu-ray, Trent has on DVD, and this is his way he wants to celebrate his birthday, by watching his favorite movie with his favorite podcast.
Hey, yep, this is the channel of all channels. I'm going off of well, actually technically this morning, but last night having a good time and watching Goldeneye to now watching Star Wars A New Hope. That's pretty damn good. That's a good 24 hours, man.
Well, you only turn 21 once, my friend, so make sure it's memorable. My 21st birthday, the actual day I got drunk, I bought 40s, and I got drunk and watched Raiders of the Lost Ark, so it was a good time.
I was thinking Last Crusade later, but hey, I hear you.
I'll just never forget my friend Toke's like, hey, man, what do you want to do? You're 21 now. I'm like, I want to get drunk. So I went to 7-Eleven and bought 40s. Fucking, I think it was Magnum or Cobra malt liquor. Ugh. But I actually drove to Ohio that weekend so I could pick up my proper license, so I could buy booze without having an expired license.
Yeah, I wait for mine to come in the mail. All I know is my birthday gift last night. She was nice enough to get me a bottle of Fireball. Got me a fifth. And there's still enough left.
Great Loner, we're watching the 2000 any cut, basically the 97, 04, or 2011 Blu-ray. It'll all be the same runtime. So just the special edition cuts. We don't have the, well, I do have a copy of the specialized, but I wanted to sync up with Trent's because this is the thing Trent wanted. So let's see. The Great Thomas Destroyer of Trains. Cool screen name. Always great to listen to you. Always great to listen to some world-class bullshitters before heading off to college. Keep up the good work. The Great Thomas Destroyer of Trains. Thank you very much. I watched that show as a child, and now I have a new nightmare. So thank you very much. Let's see. What other franchise do you think will suffer from the Last Jedi level disaster? Oh, God, what franchise? Star Trek. It's kind of already had that happen, I think. So.
MCU. I count that as a franchise. It's not like a movie. It's not like a character, but a group of characters. MCU. I think we're gonna see the cracks, and I'll save money on collectibles. I'm not gonna be buying.
Yeah. Let's see. Van Slattery, thank you very much. Hello, world-class bullshitters. The first time I saw the original trilogy when I was 5 years old, I saw all three in a row, and it filled me with a sense of wonder that is hard to replicate to this day. Love the channel, guys. Van Slattery, thank you very much. The magic of Star Wars. That's the thing. People say, why don't you guys let this go? The Last Jedi sucked. Move on. It's not just a bad movie. It's taken away the magic from Star Wars. It's trying to bastardize it.
And I look at this. I mean, when this came out, there was nothing else like it. This was so far from left field. It was a good thing. It was just, wow. It hit people. And, I essentially was 7 years old. As a kid, I think even if you're an adult watching, it can still hit you because it appeals to sensibilities of everybody, young and old. But as a kid, when you get locked in at that age, it really becomes personal. It's something you become attached with.
Sorry, Trent. I was trying to tell people I'm watching this on a laptop, so there's no sound for me to play for anybody. So, folks, I think it's time to start the film. So. We give everybody 2 more minutes to get your timestamp set to 0. So get it past the original, 20th Century Fox Homes shit, and make sure it's right before the 20th Century Fox fanfare starts. Because when I tell you guys to hit play, that's when I'll start the timer. So let me just give everybody a second, and we'll start. Jeff, it's hard to let go because Star Wars is a part of our culture. Yeah, and in many ways, they're trying to take away our culture. And when I mean I mean all of us. It's not a white thing. It's not a black thing. It's not a male thing. It's not a female thing. Star Wars works for everybody. And this weird fringe is coming in and trying to take away the language of entertainment that binds us all together. So there is a reason why people won't let this one go. And it also sends a message to the top, be it Hollywood, wherever, whoever makes your content. You can't fuck with the fans, because if the fans are passionate about your product, they will let you know when you're messing up, and they will make you suffer until you get your shit right back on track. So Disney, J.J. Abrams, Kathleen Kennedy, Ryan Johnson, Bob Iger, everybody at the top, pay attention to what the people want. Give us what we want as a community, and don't shit on us. and everybody wins. You'll make the money because we're going to see your movies. We're happy because our favorite thing is alive and well, and there is no online contingency to argue that anymore. So the only way you can help your bottom line is to make good Star Wars. So, okay, guys, I've given everybody an ample amount of time. So what you guys got to do is get your timestamps set to 0. Trent, you ready?
Yeah, I think on the DVD, I've hit play and it just went right into the original fanfare.
Okay,
so
cool.
I'm ready.
All right, so everybody get your timestamp to 0 and press play right now. So there you go.
If it's too loud, just let me know, Jeff.
I'm slightly behind. There we go.
All right, it's playing.
I'm seeing the Lucasfilm Limited. What are you seeing?
Lucasfilm Limited.
All right, cool. Then I jumped ahead at the right time. Okay. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
7-year-old Trent loses his shit 14 years ago.
Yeah, 29-year-old Jeff never gets tired of this shit. It did now. In all honesty, excuse me, it took me 6 months to watch this movie after The Force Awakens. That's how much I hated it. I'm not trying to be funny.
No, it's it just killed. Like for me, after seeing The Force Awakens, I didn't get into collecting. I didn't get back into Star Wars. I saw it was like, maybe the next one will be better, but I don't feel anything good about it. The movie that got me into I'm back in Star Wars. I like it. I want to collect stuff. I want to rewatch the movies again. Was Rogue One, probably because it jumps right into this movie.
Yeah, I could see that, and it would have been a smarter move to start. We have a couple people that haven't been around. Our friend Blue Watcher's back, Ivan Nieves is back, and Alpha Terranima made a point I wanted to read on air for everybody. So Alpha Terranima said, I'm not using the mouse, so excuse me. First time I saw the originals was binging all 3 after seeing Revenge of the Sith when it came out. Got Battlefront game on PSP with the Han Solo side story for my B-Day that year, too. Pretty good way to spend a birthday, if you ask me.
You know, I remember, and by the way, the fanfare and just the Star Wars theme here is so impactful. I don't think it ever gets better. There's always little subtle changes, like, with the Raiders March and the Bond theme. This version of the Star Wars main theme is just iconic.
Superfan Adam Shawhan says, I first saw this in a drive-in. I feel this is the best one ever made also. Just like World Class Bullshitters, this movie gave the world hope. American Trent 007, we had puppies, and you have the same birthday as them this morning.
Heck yeah. Those are some good puppies then.
They're wiener dogs. There we go. There's the Tantive 4.
And this is the shot that really... When I saw this, I was like, what? Huh?
It still looks so good to this day because it's actually real. Yep. It's not effects in a computer. They really filmed this shit. Now, folks, there may be some silences, some pauses in this, not because we don't have things to say, but because we're actually sitting down to watch how great this movie is. Because a lot of people are like, you guys never talk about anything good. Look, we're going to have bad movies. Trust me. We're going to be doing a lot of bad horror movies and a lot of bad bullshit like Manos, The Hands of Fate coming up. Don't worry. That stuff's happening. But something like this, well, like I said, it's Trent's birthday. He's a patron. This is what he requested. But more importantly, we do need to take one more time to, embrace this because this is how you found the channel. Y'all found it through Star Wars. So let me one more time explain to you why Star Wars is important before we move into the next phase of the fandom. God, this music is just perfect.
Yep. Here's the sad thing. Those guys have no idea. Those bicycle helmets will not save them.
That guy has an action figure just come out. The Rebel Soldier?
Yeah, I got him.
I do not. But I do have my 6-inch Black Series Han Solo just chilling on my desk right now.
Nice.
It is a New Hope costume, which I think is his best look, even though I like Bespin.
God, this is so cool, just the beginning of this.
Yeah, it does start off with a bang. You can't blame this movie for not, starting off huge. I think that was something that pissed me off about Dustin once, because I said something about how my favorite part is when it gets to the cantina because of Han Solo, and then he just accuses us as being boring.
This is not boring. You got a bunch of guys in white armor slaughtering people. This is a firefight in space.
Saurian Sky says, Empire of Dreams, the story of Star Wars, is a better New Hope. I love Empire of Dreams. Now I got to watch the DVD cut, not the TV cut, because there is a difference. Have you seen the TV version, Trent? Well, you would have been too young. I
No,
think
I
it was
didn't
only
see the
on TV
TV.
once.
Yeah, I think it was on Bravo, I think, but I ended up watching just the DVD. And here's the man. Here's my favorite character.
You do realize we can't fucking see it, right? You do realize I can't fucking show it, right? It's called copyright. You have to have your own copy of the movie. So thank you.
What was that?
Oh, somebody in the chat's just bitching. It's like,
Oh,
we
okay.
don't show you the movie because it's, against the law.
Don't worry, Darth Vader's moving on. He'll take care of him.
I know, right?
Now, Vader's costume in this movie was pretty rough and piecemeal, but I still think the look itself is personally my favorite. Probably because this movie, but I like the robes over the armor and in the helmet and all that.
Yeah, I like it. I know the mask is asymmetrical, but it doesn't bother me. I know he looks better in Empire, but I do like how the robes go over the shoulder piece and all that stuff. Let's see. Somebody says, first watched the tapes of the original trilogy back as a kid in the 90s. Lucas adding that music to Return of the Jedi just threw me off, so catching it on TV a few years ago, George was smoking crack for that one. Now, I don't like the Jedi Rocks editions, but I do like the music that added at the end of Return of the Jedi. No, we're not watching the specialized edition. We're watching the Blu-ray cut because Trent loves the DVD that he wanted to watch. So now, originally Trent, he was supposed to rip his arm off here, right?
Yeah, I think I did hear that.
Yeah, there's the production image, not production images, but like oh God, what are they called? I can't think of the word. Storyboards of it.
James Earl Jones, his voice really does add to the character so much. He was such a great choice to do the voice.
Yeah. Here's Princess Leia. First thing she does, kills a stormtrooper.
My ass.
Yes, for anyone that ever complains about, oh, we need a strong female representation in Star Wars, Princess Leia blows stormtroopers away, doesn't even talk. There's no diplomacy. She's just like, boom, and tries to run off. Chick's badass. I'm so tired of hearing about, Rey is so important to the franchise. No, she's not. She kind of does damage to what Princess Leia brought. Hell, even Padme is more intense and powerful than Rey. And she doesn't even have the Force. Yeah, Alpha Terra Nemo, that definitely was a repressed memory because it is on every version of Return of the Jedi since 1997. Yep, Leia is not a Mary Sue. Definitely true. She's a badass, right?
Yeah, she is. I mean, it just proves the fact you don't need to force strong women. You just gotta write strong characters. And
I love how she looks at the bad guy and goes, "Darth Vader, only you could be so bold." She doesn't go, "Oh my God, who are you?" God, she was cool as shit. 6 turning 4 burning. Thank you very much for your super chat. You notice that the stormtrooper armor worked in the opening scene. Only 4 were killed. Huh. I've actually never kept track of that. I will say this. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, that is true. I never thought that. I mean, the Rebel troopers weren't that bad a shot, and there was more of them actually there than there were stormtroopers coming in. And yeah, I didn't get that. It must have. Yeah, you can see some scorch marks, I think, on the shoulder pads too.
You could complain that because plot the stormtroopers are able to, hit them and then miss the people on the Death Star. But you could also say because it was part of the plan to let them escape and get them back to Yavin that they didn't want to kill them. So, that was why they escaped so easily. So, in this movie, the Empire is very effective. They're very tricky too.
They're very effective, very tricky, and they're very stylish with those 70s haircuts.
Dr. Coffinail says, I saw it in 1977, got my dad to take me back twice, a rarity. Dad, the Death Star is blowing up. You're missing it. Dad is asleep. Oh, now Joel has a funny story. I don't know if I've ever told you this, Trent. Joel went to a park and he fell off a car. So they took him to the hospital and they had him doped up on like pain meds. And his parents went to take him to see this and he slept through it. So Joel bitches about this movie because when he was a kid, he just doesn't remember it.
Missing out on that, I feel his pain though. I mean, that does suck.
Jedi Rider says the good Star Wars from a more civilized time. Happy birthday, Trent.
Thanks, man.
As Jedi Rider, thank you very much for Trent. When I see you in person, I'm going to buy you a beer with that.
Thank you very much.
We'll get some good shit too. None of that Bud Light crap you got.
I'm working with what I got. It's pretty much water, but
hey, I'm drinking coffee. It's no big deal. Common Writer, good morning to the Philippines, my friend. Did I ever see the documentary Deleted Magic? I have not. Yes, we are watching the original Star Wars. The timestamp is on your screen right now. We're at the 9-minute, 49-second marker.
Now, Jeff, I think the droids are the best in this movie.
Think the most important?
Yeah, well, their performance and their role and how they're used is the best of any of the movies.
I agree with you, because in many ways they're kind of just kept around in the other two to sell more toys. Because in this one, R2-D2 is important because he has the Death Star plans on him. They got to get him back to, Alderaan to form an attack. In the next one, R2-D2 just kind of talks to Luke, and C-3PO is for comedic effect.
Yeah, and then in Return, they got that convoluted plan of getting Han freed, but
yeah. I do like R2-D2 in Return of the Jedi. When he's like, you're playing the wrong message. There are some funny moments. The Grand Inquisitor, thank you very much for your super chat. I have Empire and Jedi on Betamax. Not that you young whippersnappers would know what that is. And they weren't recorded from TV either. Well, the Grand Inquisitor, I'm well aware of Betamax. I have 2 copies. Not one, but 2 copies of Beverly Hills Cop on Betamax. 2 different versions, too. Don't own Star Wars on Betamax, so that's one you got on me. Over here.
This is why I don't hitchhike, kids. Oh, by the way, collector news, Jeff just announced Star Wars Droid Factory. There's releasing a 2-scale Sandcrawler, largest one ever released.
Oh, wow.
They come with a Gonk droid in I think 1 or 2 Jawas, $100. But it's bigger than the original Kenner mold.
Oh, cool. 2 Jawas, though. Chris P says, do droids overheat? First off, Chris P, thank you. Yeah, they do. Remember, R5-D4 has a bad motivator, so he kind of blows a gasket. Battlefront 2 is only $10 on the PS4 with all the DLC included. So folks out there that want a copy for dirt cheap, you know what to do.
That good point. This reminds me that at this time, this was getting released, I think, on the same day as the original Star Wars Battlefront. I remember, I think I got that the following day. No, it was that Saturday that weekend. And that was, I'm assuming you played the original Battlefronts, didn't you, Jeff?
I had. My neighbor had them.
Those games were really fun. Those were cool games. Multiplayer was fun. I didn't really play it much. You had a campaign that made sense. It was just, here's a bunch of cool maps and some cool shit, and you play along. I still remember picking up the second one. I think it was a month before Revenge of the Sith came out at a Sam Goodies.
Sam Goodies.
Yeah, I remember I picked up the game, and I picked up 2 of those Tarkovsky Clone Wars figures, Ventress and Obi-Wan.
Oh, okay.
They were overpriced as hell, but
those aren't bad, though. I grew up in San Diego, but we had to move to the desert an hour away. So when I was 10 years old, I felt like Luke on Tatooine. I identified with wanting to get away. That's so sad, but so awesome at the same time.
That's one of the great things about this movie. No matter who you are, city, country, man, woman, whatever, you can all, in a way, I think, relate to Luke a little bit. Just wanting something different, or wanting to make a change, or looking off in the horizon, the future, thinking about the future. Anyone can do that.
Here's one of the wonkier effects in this movie when it goes up the pipe. I mean, I know it's filmed in reverse, and I'm not going to tear apart Star Wars for that. But that's like one of the few effects of the movie that just doesn't hold up. God, even the March of the Jawas and shit, the music's legit. Let's see. Luke is not a Mary Sue. That is correct. 100%. Luke is not a Mary Sue because Luke
Is the
has to
best bush
face
pilot in the Outer Rim
outer rim
territories.
territory. He has to come up against adversity. He loses, he wins, but at the end of the day, it's his journey that makes him a great character. And Rey doesn't have a journey. We're just told she's great because of plot. I am Brazilian. Luke is my hero since 1977, says Fernando. You have good taste, Fernando. Yes, Jedi Knight and friend of Captain Solo. I am watching the Blu-ray edition, which is the same as the DVD edition in terms of runtime. There are different effects changes, but not enough to alter the runtime to a noticeable difference for Trent and myself.
Yeah, I think one of the big differences was the crate dragon, the sound they emit. Or
Oh
Obi-Wan
yeah.
does.
Oh.
I think it's decent. I think in this one, because I think it's pretty close to the original.
Yeah, you're lucky to watch that one. One thing your cut's missing that if you strictly watch your DVD, you're missing the fanfare when the X-Wings attack the Death Star. The beginning of the music's been cut out. Oh god, now these CGI effects look terrible with dewbacks.
Oh wow.
This is something I'm going to have Ivan help me cut out of my version of Star Wars. Look, sir, droids.
It's bad video game graphics right there. That's not good.
Look, a penny. I do love that line.
Look, a penny.
Let's see.
But the one thing is, too, I mean, the designs of everything, the random droids in the Sandcrawler itself, how even the Jawas, all this stuff. I mean, I know a lot of it's based off the concept art of Macquarie, but I mean, you think about it, this was it was something no one had ever seen before. Now, I'm not sure what was his inspiration, just the man's own creativity.
Who, Ralph McQuarrie? Yeah. They basically, Lucas had some stuff written, and then McQuarrie did concept paintings, and then that's what sold the movie to Fox.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, good.
I was going to say, I think I remember McQuarrie saying he was still ticked off and never used his original poster and logo to promote the film.
I'm glad they didn't, though, because the original stuff, it looks better.
Yeah, I will say this. The traditional Star Wars logo does look way better, in my opinion.
Let's see. Our friend Chris P says, "Did you find anything? We ain't found shit." Gotta love Spaceballs. Okay, by the way, Tim, you said about this DVD having the theatrical cut of Star Wars. It has the Laserdisc cut, which says Episode 4, A New Hope on it. The theatrical cut doesn't say that. So I guess that was more of a marketing ploy because technically it's like 99.99% the same movie as a theatrical, but there's just, a difference. You shot my hair. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, no, the 2006 release, I believe, had the 82 versions on the Laserdisc versions.
Oh, yeah. Those were on there. They're not even very good quality, though.
No, but they really go. I looked on eBay. Those are pretty damn expensive. Like, it's like, really? $92? No way.
Not worth it. Michael Rodriguez has a question. Thank you very much, Michael Rodriguez. Anyone seen the Star Wars A New Hope Animation trailer? Yes. Fantastic.
Yes, I saw. I didn't see it all the way through, but I saw the beginning, and I was impressed.
As I said this morning on our impromptu Joker stream, I would actually go pay good money to watch them just animate Star Wars, the original ones, same sound effects, same voice actors, everything, but an animated version. People be like, what's the point? I don't know, but I would pay to see it because it sounds cool in concept. So that's the point, just to watch something fun in theaters. It's Joel Edgerton. Yeah. First time I saw Star Wars, I did not like R2-D2 at all.
Yeah, first time I saw him, I kind of felt like he was kind of this annoying little dick. Like when he would cut out the message and wouldn't play the rest of it and was always running off and just, yeah, he was kind of an a-hole. You're not wrong.
As a I remember my mom bought me an R2D2 when I was away at school, and I came home one day, and she's like, "I got a gift for you," and there was just like a little R2D2 figure on my bed. Still, I mean, I have all my old Star Wars toys, but that was one of those cool memories I have of my old Star Wars collection.
Speaking
The
of
le-
figures, I remember now the original trilogy collection. Had one of them was Jawas, and as you can see here, some of them are like 4 foot tall and some are like 3 foot. They are two different size ones. I kind of think that was cool that they represented that.
well, some
They're
are
not
children,
all.
some are actual children, and some are short people.
Oh, I did not. I did not know that.
Yeah, there's pictures of just like people's kids in a jowl robe walking around. Let's see. Robert says prequel hate is the reason we have Disney Star Wars. Thanks, prequel haters. There's a little more validity to that statement than some people want to give you credit. I believe there is some credence to that. People are like, well, we don't want to go and we don't want to rile up those people. But I think in in trying to take away the prequel haters or trying to service the prequel haters, I think you've actually created a new group of fans that have now appreciated the prequels more and hate what you have created even greater than you can possibly have imagined.
I think that prequel hate cannot justify Last Jedi, but I think possibly the way the Force Awakens went, definitely.
So
Try carbon copy A New Hope and make it shit.
isn't it like child labor? Somebody said. I think they just asked the kids like I think they're children of people that made the movie. So they're like, you want to be in the movie? And they're like, okay. So it was the 70s. Times were different.
Roger Moore was James Bond.
True. Let's see. When they were making this, they were filming The Spy Who Loved Me. At least the prequels didn't ruin the original. I agree.
So iconic.
Oh, I know. Like I said, there are times we're going to be watching this, and there's not going to be, too much sound on our end because we're actually watching the movie. It's kind of hard to. It's not even hard to say new things about Star Wars at all. It's just, it's one of those movies you watch. Like when I put on Back to the Future or stuff like that, I just pay attention to it. Prequels was Lucas selling toys again. Just look into what happened behind the scenes with the toy license. He made millions, which is fine. Grant, I actually knew a dude that worked for Hasbro during the prequel era, and he told me how they just couldn't get rid of some of that stuff from the episode, like the Power of the Force 2 line when they were trying to move into the prequel era stuff. And the funny thing is, I tried to get the guy to interview, and he read my message on Facebook because he used to be my Facebook fan, and he just never responded. So he must either not like the channel or, not give a shit. But he was pretty cool when I met him. I was hoping to get him on.
Well, hey, his loss. But I do remember seeing the toys that made us the whole process of them doing the relicensing and yeah, well, when the CEO of Hasbro says we'll pay whatever it takes, I mean, okay, we're gonna have a nice asking price.
Yeah, $100 million. Jeff, would you ride a land speeder to work or one of those indoor speeder bikes? Well, I work here at home, so sure, just keep it in the backyard.
No, just get like a little rascal scooter and put like three little engine pods on the back and the side. There you go.
But if I had a real land speeder, shit, I would ride that everywhere. I would drive it up to the gym and like park it in front of the door. And be like, "What is this? It's hovering."
And if I had 2.5 million, I think I'd drive an Aston Martin everywhere. If I had a land speeder, I think I'd choose land speeder over an Aston Martin. I mean, it is space technology.
Yeah, because then I could sell that space technology for hundreds of millions of dollars to Elon Musk.
He'll just smoke it away.
Hey, but I've got my real money. I don't want Tesla stock. I want actual cash money.
Good call. What's your opinion of Uncle Owen?
He's a crotchety old man.
Yeah, I mean, Amberu's. Yeah, I have nothing against her, but when Owen gets extra crispy, I'm not complaining to the people at KFC. He can get roasted.
Now you know Aunt Beru is dubbed here, right? She has a different voice in the original cut, like the original cut.
No, I did not.
Yeah, she's got like a thick European accent.
Huh.
I don't know why people complain about Anakin yet Kylo gets a pass. I think Kylo is way worse than Anakin because Anakin took out his anger in a very violent, believable way that would lead to the dark side. Kylo Ren is like a petulant child.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, the actions of Anakin Skywalker. I don't have a single problem with any of them. It's the voice of Hayden Christensen that just didn't always fit those lines, those situations, the delivery. That's just who he is as a person. I mean, it's what it is. Kylo, the actions are shit. I mean, Adam Driver delivers lines, I think, a little bit better than Hayden Christensen did, but his actions as a character, as Kylo Ren, yeah, Anakin's way better.
I hate them. I killed them, the women and the children. I do like the part where he goes, "What have I done?" after he fucking murders Mace Windu. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Talk about iconography in Star Wars. This is incredible. Man, like when I was saying earlier about just every frame of this movie you can turn into something. This one right here, Luke looking off into the sunset.
I mean, this is Star Wars. Everything branches from this central representation. I don't want to go too deep, but you can because it's there.
You're supposed to on this channel.
Deep and hard.
Always, man. It's the only way we know how. People in the chat are getting pumped from that scene. It was funny. Somebody posted earlier in the day, "What's our favorite moment from Star Wars?" on the Facebook page, and I just said,
"Yeah, I think that was. I think it was Chris. Shout out to Chris.
What's your favorite moment? I didn't see your response.
My favorite moment's got to be the Battle of Yavin. The whole thing, but the last. I mean, I have you now, and then the yoo-hoo and the Falcon. That part is just perfect because if as long as if you see the movies in order, especially when you're younger, you don't know. Like I had the box set, I knew there were more movies. You just thought this was the only movie. I can just imagine you watching it thinking, is he going to do it? Is he going to get killed? What's going to happen? That sets up so much tension. I think my second favorite part's got to be, for story wise, of course, the reveal of Vader as Luke's father, but very close to that is the final duel on the second Death Star. Those are my top three.
All excellent choices. All excellent choices. What's your favorite Star Wars video game? Asked Robert.
Star Wars Battlefront 2. First one I played was Star Wars Battlefront in 2004 because of this movie, obviously coming out at the same time. That was a good game, but it was obviously original trilogy content and some episode 1 and 2. But the second, you remember this, Jeff, Star Wars Battlefront 2 for the PS2, which I had it for. We had the space battles. You had the story of the 501st. You had all two complete trilogies, playable heroes. And then there was that heroes versus villains mode, a good version. They actually made Jedi Rocks tolerable.
Tell me another lie, Trent.
It was a great game. It was a great game.
To answer the question, I'll go with Rogue Squadron 2, Rogue Leader. I was more than pumped for a GameCube, and then I got there that day, and that was the game I picked with my launch title, my launch GameCube. So I got that, a memory card in that game. I played that game every day until Super Smash Brothers came out. And then, oh, there we go. Now, they rocked this. They filmed this once right here when he holds the gaffy stick over his head. Watch closely. It's actually just reversed footage.
Oh wow, I never noticed that.
Yeah, I ruined Star Wars for you.
Nah, if I don't notice it at first, then it's not a big enough problem to ruin anything.
Yeah, to me, knowing a little bit about a movie behind the scenes shit doesn't ruin it. Now that CGI in front of R2D2, that rock does, but that's a story for another time, according to Maz Kanata.
And hey, oh screw her and her
I
anus
know.
eyes. Hey, there are no rocks in front of my R2. That's a
Yeah,
positive.
lucky you. God, I hate that crate dragon scream. It's like, oh, wow.
Mine's a high pitched woo, woo. That makes more sense. I just don't get some of the edits. I mean, if you had a frame that looked like dirt shit, like some of the animation in the Battle of Yavin, some of the ships don't look good coming in the original cut, from what I've been told. You change that, but some other things, it's just like, why? I mean, there's no need to.
Well, somebody in the chat, TJ Reagan says, like, I'm 16. I've only seen the Blu-ray. I just missed the VHS era. Are the originals better? Depends, man. There are cuts and certain things from, like Trent said, a Battle of Yavin, certain effect shots that were fixed. There's a couple dialogue audio changes that do make the film better. So you're really not missing out on Star Wars if you only have seen the Blu-ray cut. You can enjoy the experience and the magic of the film. I suggest everybody see the original one to check it out because it's not enough that people are going to be like, oh, this was so much better or so much worse. I think a lot of older guys complain on the basis of nostalgia in their childhood. But I always make the argument, Trent, and you've heard this before, who gets to determine what the actual original cut of Star Wars is? Because there's a 70 millimeter and there's a 35 millimeter, and they have different audio.
Yeah, I mean, with all the differences. I mean, I I think the only way to really solve that question once and for all is to admit you never will. Everyone's gonna have a different opinion, but the best way to do that is make every version available. So get the originals out there on Blu-ray.
Oh, yeah, man. And do one more cut. Let's redo the CGI from 97. Let's make it match everything else and give the younger generation something not to. Actually, I'm just joking. I do want another cut for myself, but that's just me being greedy.
Now, Alec Guinness in this movie, Obi-Wan, when I was a kid, he really did. Like I listened to, when he spoke, I was like Luke hanging on every word. I mean, he really does a great job for a project that he really didn't believe in.
By the way, out there wondering, we're just at the part where Obi-Wan and R2D2 and Luke are walking. They're about to go pick up C-3PO. Okay, they just see C-3PO's arm. Any chance of theatrical release on Blu-ray now that Disney owns Fox? Oh yeah, of course. That's very much a possibility. We'll see if I wouldn't be surprised if at Star Wars Celebration they do something like that because they want to try to calm or quell the fandom menace, the voice towards Episode 9. So it would be a smart move, although a very predictable one, if we get the announcement that the original cut of Star Wars is getting 4K release, this, that, and the other. I wouldn't be surprised if we get that. So that way, the older generation of people or the people that like the originals over the new stuff, well, I don't really care about the new trailer. I'm focused on the Blu-rays coming out. So it'll give them something to distract them from whatever's coming out. So that's a possibility. DJ Quad, I have the despecialized edition thanks to our friend. So thank you, John. I appreciate you, man. God, the sound editing on this is so amazing. Damn fool idealistic crusade.
I
Let's
do like
see. Good.
when when everyone's talking about Luke's father. There's that one Facebook edit where they like impact or like they splice in him on fire on Mustafar. You've seen that video, right?
Yeah, I think that comes from the Addy-Wan cut. Maybe I'm wrong, but I know there's this guy that has gone back and edited Star Wars, and people are like, that's so great. I mean, I respect him and his work that he's done and all the hours he's put in, but I don't think it really fits. Like, there's this obsession with Star Wars completists to put the Imperial March into this movie, and I don't like it because, you know, it didn't exist in 77. Let's just get over that and stop trying to put the Imperial March in this movie. It doesn't work.
You don't need it.
Is the fandom menace a term that the fans have coined or something the SJW has started calling us? I believe it's a fan thing for sure. I think Jeremy came up with it, right?
Either that or Ethan.
Yeah, it's a fan thing. It's not a pejorative. It's an accepted. It's the preferred nomenclature. I used to call us, you know, fans that want to hold Star Wars to a higher standard, but then everyone's like fandom menace, fandom menace. So I've accepted. I'm late to the party with accepting fandom menace.
This whole scene here is just really great. And the lightsaber reveal, seeing it light up for the first time.
Your father's lightsaber.
It is the weapon of the Jedi Knight.
Not as random or as clumsy as a blaster.
An elegant weapon from a far more civilized age.
Now, there's always something better to watch than American Horror Story.
Yeah.
World class bullshitters. We have so much content that you know, you can go back and watch this when there's shit on TV.
That's the thing about Alec Guinness. He really don't give a shit about somebody too much. Even his acting is superb. That's just how good he is, how much he cares.
Well, speaking of Alec Guinness, somebody says, Jeff, do you think Obi-Wan was bad for lying to Luke about Anakin being Vader from the Vader being his real father? Some people say that Obi-Wan planned to use Luke against Vader. Well, Alphamar, I'm one of those people that realizes that Star Wars, this movie, was made as its own separate entity. Maybe Lucas had an idea of a saga, but when this movie was made, Luke and Leia were not brother and sister. Vader was his name, Darth Vader, because he refers to him as Darth. And all the stuff that came down the line, So you, at least to me, you should watch this movie through the lens of this is its own separate movie, and none of those fan theories really apply because the movie was just made as, oh, this guy killed your father, you want revenge. Who's my favorite Star Wars character? Obviously, it's Han Solo. A close second is Bo Sheck. Nah, I like Han Solo, Chewbacca, Boba Fett, Darth Vader, Luke. I like so many of them. Princess Leia's up there too.
Yeah, my favorite's gotta be just Vader because of his entire story arc, which honestly, culminates, I think, in a perfect way to me, at least in Revenge of the Sith. I do like how it comes in and transfers over into the original trilogy. But my second favorite's got to be Admiral Yularen because he just sits here with that great mustache.
Wolf Yularen.
Imperial Intelligence, former Republic Admiral.
No Lobot fans, sorry. Lobot's cool, but he's not that cool.
That's cool. As cool as was it? Elazon Sleazebago, right?
Yeah.
Selling some death sticks. Damn, Tarkin's creepy.
I love how this guy coming up was his General Taggy. No, Admiral Mahdi, the one that gets choked. I just love how he watch him speak coming up here in a moment. Right here, just like watch his mouth. He over moves everything. I suggest we use it. Now, the ultimate. It's just like his mouth is just emoting.
He's all in.
Insignificant next to the pile of holes.
Bitch.
God, Vader is so cool. I mean, back then, like at least the first time I saw the movie, and so I guess I can get in the mindset of a lot of people watching this. They didn't know what or who he was. He's more machine now than man, twisted and evil. But that's all you kind of knew.
I've been catching up on Netflix with the Clone Wars. I hadn't seen anything past season 2. And the one where they actually have Captain Tarkin meet up with Anakin and stuff. It's pretty good.
I'll have to check it out. I want to.
I
Or
think
no,
it's
I've
season
seen it.
3.
Yeah, but it's been
So long, yeah.
like 10 years. Well, that show came out 10 years ago, so that would have been what 8 years ago when I saw season 3. Whenever it was new. Let's see, Mega Jetty One. Thank you very much for your super chat. Go check Star Wars: A New Hope animation trailer. Mega Jetty One. Thank you very much. I have already watched it. I thought it was excellent. For a stormtrooper, Imperial stormtroopers. I think we're getting some more of your audio, Trent.
There we go.
Nowadays, for someone new to Star Wars, what's the proper viewing order? OT first or episode order? Dennis, I always say watch 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, and then nothing else.
Yeah, I will always watch them OT and then the prequels. But like when I got prepared for episode 8 without knowing what the hell was actually going to happen to me, I went and saw it. I did watch 1, 2, 3. No, excuse me, 1, 2, the Clone Wars I had available at the time. 3, Rogue One, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That's why when I went and watched 8, it was like, okay, none of this makes sense. This is why. I mean, just burn me to a crisp now. This is some shit.
Well, there's a lot of emotion in Luke's face too. He's like, "What has happened? What am I gonna do? Who did this? I want revenge. I want stuff." When stuff happens to Rey, she just kind of stares blankly, and Anakin can't emote that well either. He just goes like, "Arr!" He scowls, and that's it.
TIE fighters. I really
Rogue One is worth throwing into the mix. I stand corrected on that one.
Besides the Falcon, my favorite vehicle from this movie probably has to be the TIE fighters. Like honestly, I love the X-Wings, but they were probably last, like visually to me, that I thought were really cool looking. I mean, the Falcon, Vader's TIE fighter, the regular TIE fighters, the Y-Wings for some reason, and then the X-Wings.
I saw that new TIE fighter you bought today at Walmart.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, but $79 is a hard.
Oh no, it's too much. It was released, I think, in 2009. Same thing, and it was $40.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spend anything on Disney Star Wars for the first off, but secondly, $79 for a fucking TIE fighter. Hasbro's insane.
I know. I mean, I just did it because it's from this movie. I didn't have one. The one that came out like 9 years ago was like $150, so it is technically cheaper, but it hurt me to buy it, and I didn't throw away the receipt.
That giant TIE fighter that came out a couple years ago is still sitting on retail shelves around me. So, come on, Hasbro. Yeah. Every ship design in this movie works.
It really does.
I'm not trying to be funny, but name one that doesn't.
The Ubrikian 2000, or whatever the hell it's called, Greedo ship. The little white ball.
Never see. Will you guys be live streaming the Clone Wars next year? Robert, we actually did that. Trent and I did that, 2 months ago?
Yeah, we did the Tartakovsky. If he's talking about there's the Ubrikian. Or that Rebel transport. No, yeah, he's probably talking about the new, well, the repurposed old content of like the 2008 Clone Wars.
Oh, we could do some stuff like that. Robert, next year, since we got an actual Star Wars film coming out with Episode 9, we will do the content you guys want. All you got to do is request it and remind us. October is going to be Schlocktoberfest, which is our ode to horror movies and Twilight Zone and fun stuff like that. And we have a poll up for you guys to vote on. There's going to be one on Patreon tonight. But, yeah, we can do more stuff like that. I wouldn't mind going through and doing the prequels, as well as the High Council is going to do Solo here on my channel because it's my turn for rotation. So when Solo becomes available to all of us, we'll be doing that here, the watch party.
Now, did you see? Okay, hold on a second. I'll be silent because this is awesome. Move along. Obi-Wan still got it. Did
The
you see
CGI.
earlier when they were coming in,
Mhm.
that one ship flying off to the left?
Yeah.
You know that it had like it looked kind of like the Falcon, but wasn't.
Was it supposed to be Dash Rendar?
That is the Outrider.
Oh, okay. See, so Lucas was throwing nods to the expanded universe before we even caught on.
I'm probably gonna be pretty quiet here for this entire cantina just because
Oh, don't
respect.
worry.
Talk that do back.
I hate it. I was like, "Roo," and then it starts the cantina music. Check out the new X-Wing. It comes with Biggs, Luke, plus their Astromechs, like $70. Is that a Hasbro X-Wing? Because
Lego. It's a
Oh,
Lego.
okay.
It's also $79.99.
Oh, I got respect for Legos. I just don't have the time.
Yeah. No, as a kid I had them, and I still do respect them. And we'll occasionally
I,
pick them up.
by the way, people asking in the chat, I've never seen Star Wars Rebels, so um, I can't really comment on it besides the 5 minutes of a clip I've seen at my aunt's house, which I turned it off. God, I love this music too. It was funny. Dion and Dustin were trying to talk about how Empire had better music, and I said, "No, this one has better music." I said, "Name a great clip of or a great piece of music from Empire that doesn't involve the Imperial March at some point." And he goes, "Well, the asteroid field doesn't have it." I said, "It starts with it." And then they mentioned something else like that has the Imperial March in it too. I said, "Look it, and the Empire Strikes Back score is fantastic. Again, like the movie, a 10 out of 10. This one just beats it in terms of like every moment of music in this movie is good. You get the score, you get the main theme, you get this, you get the Force theme, you get that the march at the end, the victory theme, and the the medal ceremony."
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Chris P says, "Any requests? Play that same song." Okay, same song. Then Tim Chris says, "Name the band." I thought it was Friggin' Dan and the Modal Nodes was the name.
Yep.
And let's see. Yeah, listen to that jizz. Yeah, jizz is the type of music this is technically called. George Lucas came up with the name.
Wait, really? Is it on a soundtrack and it's called Jizz?
No, I think it is called. I think this was called jizz, like space jazz was jizz.
Wow.
Can we do Empire Strikes Back soon? Holy shit, this is awesome. DJ Quad, yeah, we can do Empire Strikes Back again. We've done it once before, but I could watch Star Wars with you guys, I don't know, quarterly. That could be a fun thing to do. Just, get a new group of people in each time and talk about what Star Wars means to them and let these
It's
people
like
out
Die
there.
Hard it's like Die Hard at Christmas every year.
You damn right. Every Christmas we watch Die Hard.
Did you hear what Bruce Willis said regarding Die Hard?
Oh, it's not a Christmas movie?
Yeah, he said that is roast.
Well, you know what? Bruce Willis doesn't get to determine that.
And there's a continuity error. Not only
Oh.
is there blood, but we wouldn't know that for the future that cauterizes wounds, but his hand is furry, and he was, that's like a squid dude. Or Walrus Man. No, Walrus Man. I actually got one of those lots I picked up with the Kenner stuff. I got the 78 Walrus Man. It was like $6 complete. Looks like shit, but
Hey,
come on.
That's what
It's vintage. Respect.
I guess.
Well, it was cool when they were making some of the stuff for this movie. They didn't have full torso shots. They're all black and white, so they had to just kind of shoot from the hip and hope they made something that looked right.
Well, they did on Wallace Man. I mean, he's got an orange body, blue.
Respect. Respect.
There's Han. Hopefully, no one kidnaps him in the future.
Fast ship. You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon?
Did you get a chance to watch the Australian Star Wars that somebody posted on the channel?
Oh God, I didn't.
I was like, "All right, mate." It's something clacker. It's crazy. You got to check it out.
We'll go ahead and board to knock the froth off a couple.
I think they actually say that, is it?
They do. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I'm not joking. I think he says that.
Yeah, they must have watched Crocodile Dundee a few times too many.
Do you think they murdered anyone on Jeddah? Yeah, they probably killed a couple people on Jeddah. Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba. They were probably they had the death sentence on 12 systems. So I think that was one of the few Rogue One callbacks that I didn't enjoy.
I didn't hate it. It was just kind of like, Well, damn, good thing they were lucky to get off this planet in the next half hour.
Yeah,
One of the problems with the first Black Series Han Solo is they got his eyes wrong.
and his neck is too big.
Hey,
Let's
he's
see.
too white. He's not tan.
No, I'm looking at him right now. He's not that good of a toy. If Hasbro was smart and you wanted to make some more money, Hasbro, what you do is you
Archive
take,
series.
well, not even Archive series alone. What you do is you take the Solo a Star Wars story, young Han Solo. You take his pants, or you take his legs. You put a better, and you put this torso on it with a new head, and I think you got a worthwhile new action figure.
That could work.
Jeff, what's your favorite moment in A New Hope? Mine is when Red Leader says, "Lock S foils in attack position," or however he said it. Man, those X-wings were looking deadly. Mine's just the entire Battle of Yavin, but if you want like a just one moment, it's literally when the music hits and Vader goes, "I have you now," and then one comes up. Oh, Greedo, what a lame ass character.
I will say, as a kid, I loved the way Greedo looked. Like his action figure got shot every day when I got up to go to school.
I never had Greedo because he was lame to me.
He's Han's first kill in the movie.
This is the one part of the Blu-ray cut that I hate watching.
Oh, it's even worse on my end. I mean,
Yeah, they
Greedo at
did
least
alter it
looks
one more
cool.
time.
He does look cool.
Yeah,
His
it's a
design.
good design. Yes, I'll bet you have.
Son of a bitch.
Couldn't leave well enough, huh? George, could you?
Sorry about the mess.
You know, one thing I'll show something I didn't realize since I would watch the special editions so much as a little kid, I would kind of forget the changes. So it took me until Chainsaw Bob Strikes Back came out where he goes, with the idea of Greedo shooting first, the worst idea since Greedo shooting first, the Chainsaw Bob movie, who would watch that? I was like, wait, Greedo did shoot first in the special editions. And it bothered me from that moment on.
Yeah. Another thing I didn't notice at first was not only the red tint to Vader's eyes, but also the fact you can see David Prowse's eyes a lot.
Oh, yeah, especially at the end of the movie.
Oh, in the cockpit, yeah.
There's a lot of good Darth Vader action figures. Now, I believe this was the editing is what saved this because originally it was the door closing and then all this other shit, and then they came knocking. So Marshall Lucas again is responsible for saving this film in the editing bay.
Yep, Marsha, cheers to you.
Yeah, one of the most important women to work on Star Wars.
More important than KK.
Yeah, well, let's not forget, it because it's not
look at that
new
weird
and
ass
trendy.
alien.
Oh yeah.
Why Solia? It has an action figure.
Well, you know better than me. I don't have it.
It's in my Cantina setup.
See, I'm one of those guys. The character needs to have a name set in the film, or else I won't buy it.
So you don't have Garindon here.
Nope, but I do have Jabba the Hutt. Jonathan Aaron Steele, I agree with you. Have you now? Have you ever seen the original of this with what's his name, Declan Mulholland, the fat guy?
He looks like just a fat white guy. He kind of looks like Cecil wearing a Good Morning Guard outfit.
Han, my boy. Why'd you fry poor Greedo?
No, this job looks like shit. I really do. I always, of course, first time seeing it, I'm a little kid. I don't know what the hell's going on. I just thought this is the way it always was. Understanding that you don't see Jabba until the palace in Return of the Jedi, that just makes more sense. And it's way better of a reveal. He's this phantom crime lord in the background.
Well, yeah, because I was a kid, I saw the original cuts. They're like Jabba the Hutt, Jabba the Hutt. I'm like, who's Jabba the Hutt? And then I finally, when I first saw Empire, I'm like, there's that name again. And then when I saw Return of the Jedi, I'm like, oh, there's Jabba the Hutt, and I was just blown away.
And there's his sail barge. It only costs you $500.
Well, that's $500 I'm not going to spend.
Yep, that's $500 I spent.
You bought that?
Yep. I didn't until I saw the very end. Like they're not gonna. Boba Fett being here is probably the worst, along with the other Greedos.
Yeah, because it's Boba Fett.
Oh, I just noticed Mosep by Need in the background, who was Jabba the Hutt in the comics.
Oh, the red guy. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I did back the katana. I thought that the whole process by some of the websites was pretty scammy. I didn't dig it. I didn't want to spend $500, but I thought, you know what? I kind of want the sail barge. I've been saving up. I'm working hard. I'm busting ass. It's coming, I guess, in February or March. But time will tell if I'm gonna be pissed off. Probably will be.
You'll have more fun with stealing Solo than you will the katana.
Well, I backed both, so
There you go. You believe in good stuff. There's those golden dice. Everything is tied together with Solo, a Star Wars story, and The Last
and I never
Jedi.
noticed those before. Wow. I really did dig Sand Troopers for some reason. I think it was the Pauldron. When I played Battlefront 2, even though they had shit weapons, I always played as the Shock Trooper because it looked like the Sand Troopers.
You talked about the snow or Sand Trooper. The reason I didn't like my Sand Trooper figure is because the one that came out in the '90s, well, he had a weird pose. Like his arm was locked and his hand was turned to the side, and it just didn't match the rest of my Stormtroopers. I used to
Is
turn
there
the
a
Pauldron
camera guy
around.
there?
Uh,
I think Han's ran in
no,
front. I think
wait,
Han ran in front of a camera guy.
but watch this scene right here behind Han. You can see a guy behind him in the
That's what I was
green
talking
sweater.
about.
Oh, yeah, okay, you're a little ahead of me then. Yeah, that guy. Great Loner says, "Hey Jeff, if you have too many Stealing Solo books to store, ship them to me. I'll keep them secure. You can trust me." Great Loner, you're a man of your word. I believe in you. You're not a pirate at all. Jeff, is there a movie you've seen that is worse than The Last Jedi? Yes, it's Pat. That is the worst film I've ever seen.
I don't want to see that.
Don't. And a movie called, I think it was Child 47 was pretty goddamn terrible too.
Everyone will say the Falcon is the best in Empire Strikes Back, I feel. And I know it serves a purpose because it's how they're outrunning the Empire and the issue with the hyperdrive and all that. But the beating and the shit they do with it, not only getting escaping Tatooine, getting pulled in by the Death Star, saving the day at the end by blasting those TIE fighters and Vader. I prefer the most still in this movie. It's just something about it. The turret scene.
Oh yeah, everything about this movie.
That's one of my top 3 scenes is the don't get cocky kid don't get cocky. That scene with the turret and the TIE fighters. That's classic. It's great. And the first hyperdrive jump.
Oh, the Death Star. You know what's neat about this movie? There are a lot of 70s sci-fi flicks that fall into a certain category. I'm not saying that's a bad category to fall into, but like even Star Trek the Motion Picture, they kind of fall into a relic of their time. While Star Wars does have the sideburns and a couple things that make it very 70s, overall, it's still a pretty timeless flick. And not a lot of science fiction from the past can say that. Like when you look at a heavy metal magazine or the movie, it's very, very dated. It feels, very Mobius-like. This just feels like a conglomeration of so many sources that it's, in many ways hard to put a finger on when it was made outside of a few haircuts.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the message itself is timeless. Visually, a few things, but like one thing that a lot of people point out is the fact that in Empire and Jedi, the Imperial officers wear black gloves. This one they don't. Okay, I prefer if they actually didn't, to be honest, but it's not that big of a distraction.
A military target, then name the system. God, Tarkin looks like he smells like mothballs.
Wait, when those be mothballs?
Fun fact: the guy who played the guy who played Porkins, William Hootkins, voiced one of the boss characters in Crash Bandicoot 3. I was not aware of that. William Hootkins was also in Raiders of the Lost Ark, as well as Batman '89 as Lieutenant Eckard. He didn't think about the future.
Unless the future was about the next meal.
Dennis makes a good point. Love how Leia fears Tarkin more than Vader. Yeah, Tarkin is the main guy. He runs everything. Vader even answers to him.
And my lightsaber is green now for some reason on this end. How's yours is blue? I think they've corrected it.
Yeah, but then it goes to white. There are so many inconsistencies with the special editions. It's frustrating, man. That's why it'll never be number one on my list.
I look past it to the story and just the impact it had on me when I watched it, but I 100% see where you're coming from, and I agree. But Han's outfit in this movie definitely it's the Han. I mean, it's like a space cowboy.
Do you like the Stealing Solo parody version of it?
I do. I like how it's a little bit tight. It's a little bit tight.
I originally drew, like I told some of the other guys, I originally drew it as him being fat, but then I'm like, Harrison Ford's never been fat. He's in better shape than all of us, so it's not funny to make him fat.
I mean, he's been bulkier. Like you look at him between this movie and Jedi, he's a little older, a little thicker, but he's not fat. He's just it's body recomposition. Maybe he hit some weights and he just got bulk. He got bulker.
Dude, look at him in Temple of Doom. He's in really good shape.
Yeah, he is. He's saying hi to Kali in hell.
We'll watch those soon.
Oh, I love those movies. I really do. I've appreciated them more now. No, I've learned to appreciate those more as I've gotten older and watched them, and they're all. I mean, a personal favorite for I don't know why it's still Last Crusade. I think it's got to be just because of the Sean Connery and the Grail Knight. I love that guy.
He chose poorly. Yeah, Last Crusade's great. I like all three. If somebody's like, Jeff, you have to watch one of the original Indiana Jones trilogies, but you don't get to pick which film it is, I'll go, okay, I'm fine with watching one of the original three. I don't care. I'm gonna have a good time. There are great moments in all of them. Sorry, folks, if you can hear my Keurig bubbling and churning in the background. It's Mr. Coffee. I always like to drink my coffee and watch Radar. You know that, of course. Let's see, Spaceballs is the greatest Star Wars film ever. It's definitely better than The Empire Strikes Back. There, I said it. Fight me. No, I'm not going to fight you, man. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, so you can have that opinion. I like Spaceballs.
Hey, everyone's got their opinions, even if it's gone plaid. It still counts.
How hard is it to access the originals? I've not looked into it. Well, TJ Reagan, it's not that hard. If you can go find a copy on video for like $1, but you can also get the 2006 DVDs that have that on there, or you can look into downloading the specialized editions.
There actually is, Jeff, a DVD set that came out, I believe, in 2013. It came out after the Complete Saga did in Blu-ray, where it has the same versions as the 06 one, but later. It's expensive, but it's confusing because there's another version that came out a year later with the same packaging that doesn't have them. It's really weird.
Yeah, I have Harmy's Specialized Edition. If you own the movies on Blu-ray, it's legal to have the Harmy Specialized Edition. Look into it. These Star Wars people are, pretty well versed.
I really do want to get a Specialized Edition one day. I that's one thing that's missing.
You'll get them one day.
I was going to say, back when Luke was training, the Hot Toys version of the helmet and the training ball.
Now watch Vader here. His arms move after he's done talking because there's more lines of dialogue. See?
I always just thought he was gesturing like, come on, let me choke her. Let me choke her.
I would even say the Human Centipede 2 is slightly better than The Last Jedi, but only slightly. I met that guy from Human Centipede 2. He's fucking weird in real life.
He made ass to mouth more uncomfortable than it needed to be.
Destroyed by the Empire. I don't know how they did it, man, but still, this looks better than all the new shit that comes out in terms of just straight up cinematography and effects. Like, this holds up so well. Guys, if you're trying to find the Despecialized edition, go find yourselves, go to originaltrilogy.com and ask around. They'll help you out. Now, this shot right here, I think the Falcon looks amazing when it's chasing.
Yes, yes.
It's just so fast. Yes, John Lance, we are.
The sound of the TIE fighters, too.
Oh, yeah. It just sounds like it's screaming at you.
That's no moon. It's a space station.
That line pops up in Stealing Solo. There are so many Star Wars nods and references in that story. I can't wait to tell, or I can't wait to show it to you, Trent.
There better be a scene where Han Solo gets shit-faced in the basement. He finds your guy's liquor stash, and he just like thinks he's Han Solo, and he's like dicking around with the Legacy Collection Millennium Falcon, flying it around and shit, pretend he's flying the real Falcon.
They do starve him for a couple of days in the story.
Jesus, I thought they loved this guy.
I want to tell you so much. Kendo knows the whole story. Kendo and my mom are the only people that know the whole story. Because Nick doesn't want to know. He wants to be surprised, and Dion was asleep.
Well, it's like watching GoldenEye last night. We got to the last like 23 minutes, and it was like, okay, well, she had to go to bed. It's like, okay, well, what happens? Trevelyan dies. Okay, this is a good movie. We'll finish it next time.
God, I remember when I was at college and girls would come over to watch movies. I would watch horror movies with them because it was a lot of fun. Because some of them would be afraid of this shit. Like I showed the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and this dude, he was cool. His name was Joaquin. He freaked the fuck out, man. He was like this Puerto Rican dude who's real religious. And we watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre and then The Exorcist. And when The Exorcist came out, I was like, I have to leave. He like got real scared. He's like, I've seen shit like this, man. I gotta go.
They do, yeah. Those real exorcisms they perform. That's some scary shit.
Let's see. No spoilers, Jeff. Of course, I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. That's the whole point of you picking up the comic, to give you guys a great experience. I'll never spoil the ending, and you'll never see it coming. I've watched this movie so many times. I know like the little background dialogue, like the guy over the announcement speaker, the PA.
This whole scene right here too.
I have never heard of Diesel Punk, so I can't talk about that. I'm excited to watch horror movies October. Well, Robert Boucher Jr., you have a ton to watch with us. Wait till if you guys can. I don't usually say this to people with the channel because I know real life comes first and you have your responsibilities. But if you have an extra sick day lying around that you can spare, Halloween would be the perfect day because we're doing a all-day 16-hour live stream here on the channel, and we're gonna be watching movies, hanging out, doing fun stuff. So if you do have the time, I'm not advocating you guys, take away from work or school if you have to go. But if you have a free day, October 31st is the perfect day.
I'm advocating. Okay, seeing those stormtroopers coming aboard the ship, one thing that pissed me off about because of course I wasn't buying my own toys at the time. It was whatever came into the house. I was like, okay, thank you. It's free. Star Wars. I'm cool with it. The original trilogy collection repacked stormtrooper came with a blaster stand and the long rifle.
Mm-hmm. I know,
but you only see a handful. You only see a handful use it in the movie. Everyone else has a regular blaster, and it's like, why in the hell? There's no regular blaster.
October 31st is a Wednesday. By the way, Robert, everybody that gets a comic gets it signed, unless you buy the blank cover variant. That way you can get a sketch by an artist, and the artist can sign his own work or his or her own work, because their drawing is not my work, so I would never sign someone else's work and claim it as my own. So no, you do if you buy the book, you get a signed copy, everybody. And if you do the higher level, like some people, I'm going to write you guys, a personalized letter and all this other shit. So get involved, guys. We're in the final stretch now, and it's exciting.
I like how no one hears these blaster shots. That's the one thing.
God, this guy got a bad transmitter.
And there's the rifle stand.
Yeah, that figure you're talking about was released in 1999. It was called a Comtech Stormtrooper.
Yep.
And if you put hot water on its chest, it has a blast mark that appears. Now, you used to be able to buy those in bulk. You could get like a set of like 5 or 6 of them.
I had no idea about the blast mark. I wonder if the original trilogy version has that.
It may. I've always
I have
thought
two
they
of
had
them.
just so many of these figures just sat around and they just put them in new boxes. One of my favorite Star Wars figures is Han Solo and Stormtrooper gear. Just something so cool about the look.
Yeah, even the Black Series one was really good for its time. The sculpt for the head is pretty on point.
I didn't pick that one up. I picked up the 3 3/4 inch, and when they do a SH figure arts equivalent, I've decided instead of buying cheapy toys, I'm going to buy less
There's a
stuff
Hot
but
Toys
get higher
version.
end stuff. Oh, I've seen it. I just don't like the head sculpt, man.
Yeah,
Now,
there's
right
a little bit of
here,
give and take.
this is a difference in the dialogue from the 70 millimeter and the 35 millimeter cut. Because if you watch the specialized edition, it's just silence. But then if you go back and check out the history, the 70 millimeter cut has, C3PO say the terminal in this location, blah 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 blah, and all this crap. So again, that's hard to decipher whose original cut is actually the original cut. So it's all about memory, and it kind of gets into a gray area of who has the final say to what the actual original cut of Star Wars is. I know a lot of fans out there don't want to hear that, but just because you remember it a certain way doesn't make it the actual original way. Our friend Acid Blade 21, thank you very much for your super chat. The sound effect of the TIE Fighter is the sound of a Messerschmitt Bf 109. I didn't know that. Did you?
No, I did not. Because I
No,
do know that because the Stuka dive bombers had like sirens attached to the wheels that I believe it was meant to terrify Allied troops. But I didn't know about the BF 109.
see, I would love to be a World War II buff, but I don't know as much as some people out there do. So
No, I got introduced to it through my grandfather who was in the military at a very young age. So I watched all the movies. My first Sean Connery movie I ever saw was Longest Day, put that way.
my grandparents were both in World War II. My grandma was in the Navy. My grandpa was in the Army, and he died, God, years before I was born. And then my grandma, she's still involved with, the old ladies that are still alive from World War II. My grandma was she got flown to Washington, D.C. about 2 years ago and got to go through this big special event. It was pretty cool. So let's see. Mareth Dealine sent a super chat that says, "Hey guys, sorry I'm late. I was watching a movie drama about Winston Churchill called Darkest Hour. It was very good." Oh, another
Oh,
World
with
War
Gary
II.
Oldman. Yeah. I want to watch that one day. I've heard it's really good.
Maybe we'll do a World War II day here. What's December 6th is what? Pearl Harbor, right?
December 7th.
7th. Okay, shit. I was close. Damn it.
So we're gonna watch that Michael Bay movie, right?
Yeah, all day, man. All day, every day.
Honestly, I don't hate it that much. I mean, it's what it is.
We watched it in grade school. So
I mean, CGI is decent. It's pretty true to the actual history.
somebody talked about their grandfather dying in World War II. Remember that part in The Hangover where it says, "My grandfather died in World War II." He was in battle, no skiing accident. I just love that line for some reason.
Yeah.
Ooh, Deep Purple and Judas Priest. That's gonna be a good show. Now, I was going to do a video titled Gil Taylor, the Unsung Hero of Star Wars, because Gil Taylor, you want to talk about narratives of Star Wars. Even Lucas was responsible for hiding some of the people responsible. So Gil Taylor is the guy that was responsible for this light cutting, the cutout lights that we see right here. They didn't
Oh,
really
wow.
have those before him, and he came up with that. And he was responsible for a lot of stuff. Yeah, he kind of had an attitude and butted heads with Lucas, but he really did contribute a lot more to Star Wars than the public remembers. And it's sad that within the next generation or two, depending on how Disney Star Wars has ruined the franchise as a whole, Gil Taylor's contribution will be very minimal, if any.
Just think about that. Those lights and that design is so attached to Star Wars. Yeah, iconic that they ripped it off in The Force Awakens. So, I mean.
Now, you know that you can buy these things called space walls, and they're these for your 6-inch scale figures.
Yeah, they do them for 6-inch and 3 3/4, but it's just they're pretty expensive, not too terrible for custom made, but it's like I could buy actual memorabilia and other things instead of custom, but they do look cool.
See, I would pay the money if I had a house that I would do a diorama or a setup for. But as of now, even if I did buy them, they would just sit in a shipping box until I
I was
move.
gonna say half of my stuff's in totes. I mean, you own it, and that's cool. You know you own it, and it's there for when the time comes. But
Well, I was at my vintage toy store the other day, and they had Marty McFly from Hot Toys, and I looked at it for 10 minutes straight, and the guy's like, "You want to buy that? Don't?" I'm like, "I already have one. I just have never taken it out of the shipping container."
same with mine. I gotta get some of those Detolf cabinets, but they're pretty expensive, unfortunately, to have them shipped. Like I don't have an IKEA near me. It's like like $70 to ship it.
If I was driving to Michigan with a vehicle that could transport them, I'd pick it up because I passed an IKEA on the way up to Dion.
Yeah, it's one in Canton, I think.
Nope, there's one in Cincinnati.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, probably about 25, 30 minutes away max.
Another thing that always threw me off was the fact that these Death Star troopers have the Rebel blasters, the DH-17s from the beginning.
Now you know that this is edited, right? They censored the shots because in the original cuts it shows the blaster bolts hit the guys, and they cut that out of the special editions.
Ah, man.
Oh,
Only
God,
my
Tiny
7-year-old
Tim is here.
nostalgia is preserving this cut right now. That's it. That's disappointing.
I mean, they're just little minuscule things that you wouldn't notice unless you went to these websites as a kid and spent 12 hours.
But it's all under control. Situation's normal.
I may. Oh, never mind. I'll tell you off air. Jeff, what's my favorite hot toy releasing in 2019? I don't know what's coming out in 2019. I'm hoping that there's going to be an Axel Foley release.
No, there's a John Wick coming out. Darth Maul with Sith Speeder. Boring conversation anyway. I love that one. The Episode 3 Obi-Wan, Count Dooku, Yoda. I think that's it. Oh no, there's the Emperor with the throne. That looks pretty cool.
While those all look fantastic, I'm not going to spend Disney Star Wars money.
Yeah, here we go.
Luke Skywalker, God, so iconic, so cool.
Yes. Here's the thing: it does. Oh, the editing's great, but with Disney Star Wars money, I was gonna say, for some things I do cave because they've only been made since Disney purchased it, not because of that fact, but because that's just the way it is. I will not support Disney created Star Wars properties. Like Darth Vader and Rey will have a Disney logo on the packaging somewhere. But Darth Vader was created in 1976, 77. Yeah. Not like Rey. I mean, that's how I do it.
By the way, Thomas, I have started my SH Figure Arts collection with Star Wars, and who do I have? I have Luke Skywalker and Han Solo from A New Hope. I stand by that those are the two best interpretations of the characters on that scale. Get behind me, get behind me. You know, I used to think one of the things they could have done here was if you would have shot a few more stormtroopers, you could have kind of blocked this door with dead bodies, and you may have had the high ground, Han.
He's got the grenade.
Yeah, because Luke doesn't. Now, have you seen the vintage 12-inch Stormtrooper doll where the box art is him in this hallway?
I have not.
That's pretty cool. It's funny how even the hallways and shit in Star Wars are iconic. Like, this looks so good. Now, that's a special edition change. They extended the hallway. It used to be a lot shorter.
The one cool thing with the Black Series versions, you do have the Luke, which is a little bit shorter than Han, and Luke does not have the thermal detonator on the back. Han's does.
That's accurate. Now look at like Princess Leia right there. What does she do? She grabs the gun, she shoots, and she doesn't take shit. What the hell are you doing? Somebody has to save our skins. Come on. I mean, her dialogue is just so fun and natural. This new Star Wars stuff would be like, oh, I avoided a gunshot on Bartha 4 once, blah, blah, blah. I don't know why I'm sounding like Obi-Wan. My point is, new Star Wars is stoic and boring. At least this shit's
Cool.
fun and action packed, and that even felt like a handheld camera shot.
Yeah, I was gonna say Carrie Fisher's performance as Leia, especially, is she strong in all of them and
Mm-hmm.
does a great job. But in this one especially, she's got like that really like decent. I know I'm tying it back to James Bond. Yeah, I know Kendo would give me shit, but you know what? He ain't here tonight, so uh, she could be a strong like Bond girl kind of thing that time, but she could have been like uh Natalia Spinovia or Tracy.
She would have been
Kind of,
better in Moonraker than Lois Chiles as Dr. Holly Goodhead. Now, our friend Acid Blade
God,
says
that's
that
perfect.
our friend Acid Blade said in a giant super chat. Thank you, Acid Blade. The Millennium Falcon was a cross between a hamburger and a B-25 medium bomber. The X-Wing's design was a cross between a dragster and an RAF Spitfire. Reason being is that the Rebel Strader pilot suit was modeled after the um, World War II RAF pilot suits. I did not know that.
I did not
Uh,
either.
yeah. Oh, Kendo's here, Trent, by the way. But Acid Blade, thank you
Kendo,
very, very
oh,
much. That was
Kendo is
very
here. All
generous.
right. Well, Kendo, we had my James Bond mention.
I
Hey,
gotta
but I will say Kendo did wish me a happy birthday, and so did Nick and yourself, and I do appreciate that. Love you guys. You're my bullshitters in arms. You're my brothers.
now, Acid Blade, have you seen a lot of the Joe Johnston drafting? That's where a lot of the I believe Joe Johnston took some of the Macquarie designs and really finalized them and helped get the rivets and the lived in feel to it. And now you know who Joe Johnston is, right, Kendo? Or not Kendo, Trent. You know who Joe Johnston is, right?
Yeah, he's the guy that ended up. They went with him to do the final design
Yeah,
work.
but you know he went off to direct Captain America as well as the Rocketeer, so he's had a really good career.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, same dude. Designed
Damn.
Boba Fett, all kinds of shit. Yeah, the design work in this movie, I think that's another cool thing about Star Wars. I talked about this on one of the chats or one of the streams is Lucas was an artist himself, and so he respected other artists coming together to make this one big finalized project. And that's what Star Wars kind of is. It's great artists coming together. You know, John Williams, great artist. Ben
Yep.
Burtt, great artist. George Lucas, great artist. Well, pretty good on his great on his best day. Joe Johnston, Macquarie, all these people came together to make this thing work that fires on all cylinders. There are a lot of movies out there that have cool special effects but bad costume design, like Star Trek: The Motion Picture. The suits look stupid. Hell, effects aren't even that good, but it has good music,
It
but
does.
bad pacing and bad editing. Star Wars had
It's
it
all
all.
got
And
flow. It's got to flow together, and this movie does. And I've seen a
in what
chat. Yes, Kendo. It was not the first one, but it's the best one, brother.
well, like Acid Blade said too about where this stuff comes from, the World War II designs. Star Wars was smart enough, and I'm just going to say Star Wars if it was its own entity, but Star Wars was smart enough to pick real world things that we could identify with and not make it too otherworldly. You know,
Oh right,
like
no,
the
like for
guns look
example,
like our guns.
well, yeah, a lot of them were based off of guns. Like I know that I believe the Sand Trooper Heavy Blaster is based off a Browning light machine gun, and then the whole scene with the Falcon going against the Sentry ships when you got Han and Luke in the turrets, and concussion, he's out for the year.
Yeah, there's
Um,
Snoke.
uh, that whole scene with Luke and Han, and the turrets, that's all designed off of like 5 o'clock high World War II movies in the bomber crews in the gunning positions, like the ball turret gunners and all that from World War II. So they did use that real world influence and apply it to this, and that's what really makes it something special.
By the way, no, I read Acid Blade's thing. I'm still talking about it. Oh, I just, World War II, I think I said, when did I say this? Or who was I talking to? How World War II was kind of like an evergreen thing. You can constantly do World War II stories. Star Wars puts itself into that category to where it never becomes, it allows itself to be mined just the same way.
Yeah, and I see in the chat someone noted that the not the heavy like round blast, but the long one that Han was carrying initially, that's an MG-34 German machine gun, World War II. So they really did they stylized them enough just to look have that space feel, but really kept true.
And Han's blaster is a Mauser whatever. It's a real gun. They actually had to return the prop back to wherever they rented it from. So that's why Han Solo has a different gun in the next movie.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
So that's why I got pissed when I watched Solo, a Star Wars story. They're like, this is where Han Solo gets his iconic blaster. I'm like, in the fucking movies, he switches between two different guns, so it's not even that iconic or important to him. It's just the only thing he's attached to is Chewbacca and the Millennium Falcon,
Which now belong to a British space chick who gets whatever she wants. Okay. Thanks a
you
lot,
know.
Disney.
Jeff Soul makes an interesting point, and this is one thing that I'll never get because of this channel, but would love to get so big and famous that they couldn't deny me. Jeff Soul says, I wonder how many hours of extra footage existed when the movie was made. I would kill, not literally kill, but I would kill to go watch. There's other cuts of this movie. There's a work cut that's like 80% different footage and different takes. I'd love to see all the different cuts, the work rough cuts of this movie, to see how bad it was or how good it was, to see what isn't there, what's been publicized, what hasn't been publicized. There's all kinds of crazy shit they did with this movie that we don't know. And while Lucasfilm probably doesn't know me personally, this channel is probably like on their list of all people that'll never get press badges or this, that, and the other. I would love to see the alternate cut of Star Wars, that and the Eric Stoltz footage from Back to the Future.
Eric Stoltz. We may never know what it could have been like.
Don't forget Kathleen Kennedy is an artist too. She's an artist of destruction.
I'll be right back, Jeff. All right.
All right. Back to Acid Blade, though. Yeah, I've definitely heard the story about the Millennium Falcon is the hamburger with like an olive next to it or whatever. Because originally the Millennium Falcon was supposed to be the Tantive 4, the ship that was Princess Leia was flying in the beginning, but then they changed it because there's some pre-production artwork and stuff like that. Dayton Pfeiffer, I don't know why YouTube is late to the notification party. But they've been, trying to keep us down. But, the fans have been building us up. So we're here, my friend. God, I love Han Solo. Such a cool character. So it's funny, if you pay attention to Chewbacca in the garbage compactor scene, there's a reason why he doesn't move away from the door. Because Peter Mayhew's on a platform because they didn't want to get the suit wet. So Star Wars did have budgetary issues and restrictions back in the day. It's nice to see that when they make them now, well, not anymore, but money is no object with these movies. If only story was an object with these things.
Yeah, no reward is worth this.
Yeah, folks, I am not looking to see how many people are here. Well, we got 100 and something people watching tonight. 306. Holy shit, people are really tuned in for this one. Can we get 306 likes on this video so we can get searchable in the index and we can help take back YouTube for the listeners, the fans? Just take
that's one thing. Hey, I don't want to throw no shade against nobody, but when you're watching a video, it takes like 3 seconds to hit that like button, smash that muff button. Come on. You're watching it, so you gotta be liking it. Life's too short to spite watch.
Have I thought about going to Rancho Obi-Wan? I would like to go meet Steve Sansweet. The thing is, I may be very critical of certain people at Lucasfilm and the movies in general, the new ones, but he's a guy I'd like to go hang out with. Ben Burt would be a guy I'd like to go hang out with. Guys that have been there or involved with a lot of stuff. Get back to the ship! Have you ever seen the deleted scene where the stunt director Peter Diamond runs on screen as soon as they walk away and blows the smoke off the Stormtrooper armor so he doesn't catch fire?
No, I've not seen that.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Like, literally after the frame cuts, the guy goes, cut! And he's trying to blow off the smoke so the guy doesn't burn.
I've seen the original scene of this where it's just like they just turn around and start chasing them back.
All the hallway?
It's cool, but I mean, seeing that entire hangar full of like an entire battalion, that sells it better. I'm just going to say that. I mean, I'm not going to be that much of a purist. That is pretty good.
Now, this scene coming up here, the music, is one of the musical cues that I listen to a lot. Now, another thing about this, I guarantee you, if you're a big Star Wars fan, anytime you listen to a Star Wars piece of music, at least from this one for me, I can visualize exactly what's happening in the movie, and I'm sure there are millions of other people out there that can as well. Acid Blade, thank you very much again for the super chat. Name of Han's gun is a Mauser C96. I did not know the exact number. I knew it was a Mauser, but I would love to get one of those master replica Han Solo guns, the full scale Episode 4 guns. That
Oh
would be
yeah,
such a
I know what you're
cool
talking about.
a cool collectible to get.
Doesn't Michael from Retro Blasting have one of those? I think he has a
Oh yeah,
Stormtrooper one.
Michael from Retro Blasting has the best collection on the internet
He
with the
does.
serious
I
money
mean,
behind it.
now he's got some great stuff. It's not all that I'm interested in some of the brands, but I still do watch because he does a great job covering it.
Oh yeah, he can make me care about anything. I was at my vintage toy store and I almost bought Rambo figures because of the way he talked about them.
Those are what, those Force for Freedom that are
Something
called.
like that.
I do like the behind the scenes on this where that rope. I think that the stunt doubler, someone did a test across, and it pulled or snapped, or like it got like
Yeah, rip the
where it
harness.
started to fray. It started to fray, and they actually had to film. It's like, oh, it'll be fine. It was like, well, we can't do this again. If we do it again, it's gonna break. So good luck.
Well, because Peter Diamond, the stunt coordinator, lied and said, "I just split my trousers, Mark. Everything's gonna be fine."
Open the blast doors. Open the blast doors.
I love how Han jumps through. Tim says, "I know a few sites where you can get the mods to mod the actual gun and make your own." I wouldn't mind doing that. I know Nick's pretty good at weathering and paint and stuff. If anybody has any insight on that, let me know.
Honestly, it might be cheaper to buy the mass replica than to buy an actual C96 Mauser and then work on it.
That's true. John Hurst says, "Jeff, what's the best vintage store in town, Cincy area?" Well, I will stand by Road to the Past Collectibles, the guy that runs the shop. It's over on Harrison Avenue. The dude's a fantastic guy, nice as hell, really knowledgeable, great selection. If you need something, he can get it for you, or he can point you in the right direction. Just a good dude. He's really cool. I'm going to be doing a live stream from for the channel from his store in the future because I want people to go find his store and support vintage collectibles.
There is one store I noticed down by the state border with Kentucky. I think it's called the Toy Department. I've seen people film in there, and it's more modern stuff. They do have some vintage, but they got a crap load of everything. I mean, they got Legends, Hot Toys, NECA, Star Wars, new and old.
That's what this store has. I actually was there yesterday. I bought the Marvel Legends cable. They had it brand new in the box. The guy cut me a deal, and then I picked up a Batman Begins figure and some Power Rangers Micro Machines.
Sounds like a good day.
Now, here's an interesting question. Niflheim says, "Why not call him Anakin or a young Padawan?" Well, Niflheim, because when this movie was made, there was no such thing as a Padawan. His name wasn't Anakin Skywalker yet. I'm a firm believer that when this movie was made, Darth Vader was his name, and he was the guy that killed Luke's father. That was not, written into the plot yet. So while I do understand the questions, we always have to take into account how these movies were made. If Star Wars wasn't the phenomenon it was, I don't think people would be so. There are so many different ways to consume Star Wars. You can consume it as the saga route, where you appreciate every aspect, or you can appreciate them as movies themselves, much like I do. And I buy into the way they were made, and that's the lens I look through it.
Yeah, I mean, no, honestly, that's a very interesting point to bring up. I picked up, I said, some of those Kenner figures. The person selling them, she was a child, back when the movie came out, and her siblings collected it and were really into it. Kept all her stuff like near mint. One with the Force, rest in peace, Obi-Wan. Point is, she ended up sending just for free, tossed in some like Topps trading cards from 77, 78. And on the back of them, it mentions about 20th Century Fox, saying there may be potential sequels, not sure yet, not written, whatever, but we do know for now we have Star Wars to entertain us, blah, blah. So they weren't even sure they were going to make more, even after it was a success. They still had to work on scripts and all this and that. So Lucas may or may not have actually had a format in his mind or a plan. But,
Niflheim says it's a shit
know.
explanation. Well, that's the real explanation. There was no such thing as Anakin or a Padawan. I didn't read all the books, but I don't remember Padawans until episode 1. So
yeah, hey, you know what? Look at it this way: Obi-Wan's thinking this guy's fully lost the dark side. Luke has to kill you if we want to beat you. So you are Darth Vader. You're not my brother, Anakin.
Grand Inquisitor sent it to Super Chat that says, "Jeff, go to imfdb.com and it'll tell you all about movie/TV weapons. And Empire Han still has a Mauser. It's just has a different site." Okay. Well, the whole gun It has to be more than just the sight too, because it looks. I mean, the figures come with different versions too. I like the original one though the best.
God,
Uh,
this scene coming up here, so great. Probably my second favorite from the entire movie when I first saw it. Because I had seen World War II stuff before seeing this movie, and I could see a little bit of the obvious inspiration from it. And that whole line that Han says is just it's so good.
all right, stay sharp. I have a couple talking Han Solo figures that quote these lines. That big Millennium Falcon that you want has these lines of dialogue in it.
Oh God, I gotta buy it. I didn't. Hey, it was not one of the birthday gifts today, so I think I need to buy that thing. But I don't want to. But I do. I want to own it. I don't want to pay for it, and that sounds like such a that's total bitching. But damn, what was like? It was originally like what, like $100?
150, I believe.
Oh God, worth it so much, so worth it.
God, this still holds up. The music helps us so much too.
Yeah,
And again, the editing, man. Like when we get to the battle, the crazy thing about this movie is it goes from like iconic action scene to action scene to action scene. It really doesn't let up after it. Just I can't believe we're almost through the movie. We're an hour and 35 minutes in. I could probably talk about Star Wars for 7 or 10 hours straight, and not get tired
that's
of
the
it.
thing. This thing hits, it's all the stuff. Empire has very important story moments, especially Dagobah and stuff where they're in the Exogorth, the space war. But the point is, there are slow moments. Return of the Jedi has some very slow moments, and then some, Ewok exposition, which we could be, without. And then actually, there's obviously some errors with the first two prequels. I do think Revenge of the Sith is overall, personally, to me, it might be the second or third best paced Star Wars movie. There's very little in terms of dull or slow moments in that movie.
It starts out with a
Um,
bang too, man.
that opening as a kid seeing the theaters, damn, that was awesome. Um, but this is, in my opinion, the best paced Star Wars movie. It's just hit, 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 memorable, memorable, memorable.
I'd say it's one of the best paced movies ever. Seriously.
Period.
Yeah, Star Wars is one of those rare examples where a genre picture or a sci-fi picture or an action blockbuster picture can be regarded as truly great. People talk about Citizen Kane and all these other movies, The Godfather, but you can look at Star Wars through that lens and it works. You can't look at the Avengers, or you can't look at a Batman movie or something. Even The Dark Knight's kind of a stretch to look at it through a view like that. Classic American cinema, though, Star Wars is in that conversation along with Jaws. And somebody makes a good point. Say what you will about the prequels, John Williams soundtracks added texture and depth to the scenes. Yeah,
Duel of the Fates.
I don't bitch about the prequel music. I bitch about the sequel music. That sequel music is nothing. The prequel music has about 10 really awesome, iconic tracks that I can just name off or like hum off the top of my head, and I think they hold up. There are some moments of music that John Williams scored that are as good as the originals. Not many, but some.
Yeah, I will say it sometimes when I'm getting up or I'm talking to someone, like it's like a Monday. I don't have to go to work tomorrow, thank God. But I make sure to take that day off. But it's like, oh, you're taking extra hours so we could do overtime or doing this and that. It's like, hey, I don't want to. I'm just in to get paid. I'm in it for the money. I will say that, and no one gets it. But
It's funny when somebody says something about how they don't care. I'll go, I care, but no one ever gets what I'm talking about either. Was it odd that Chewbacca never shot the bowcaster until The Force Awakens? No, he shoots it in Return of the Jedi. He shot the speeder bike when it was trying to get
yeah,
away. There's a good special edition shot. If only the model work was a little, or the CGI matched, because it's a different color.
and I'm pretty sure in the original cut you don't have the actual planet Yavin.
You see that orange? It's a really weird special effect shot. It's like an orange. It's there. It looks really bad. I'm glad they changed it.
I did like how in Rogue One that they did replicate this pretty good. say what you will about the casting, the rebellion side. I like share it like K2SO. The Rogue One crew is not meant to be memorable for obvious reasons. But the
No.
movie itself, it was the most hyped I've been for a Star Wars movie leaving the theater since Episode 3. Maybe seeing this movie for the first time we're watching right now. It lit something back in me. It was like, I don't like the new stuff, but fuck it. The old stuff, it's there. It's part of us. It still can be great.
Here comes the Death Star. I do love how he dies because of his own hubris and ego. It's so cool.
Evacuate? And how a moment of triumph? I think you overestimate their chances.
You know the white part of the Rebel pilots reminds me of that shit that you get on a pizza, like underneath it, so it doesn't stick to the cardboard box. That corrugated thing. That's what that looks like to me.
Yeah.
Even as an adult.
It does. I find your lack of faith disturbing, pilot.
It's so funny when people, the crazy SJW people, want to critique Luke Skywalker. He's a Gary Stu. How could he do this? How could he do that? You mean the one thing he's only good at is the only reason he's able to do certain things? I mean, it's not like every character that talks about Luke, it's, oh, you're a great pilot. I've heard you're a great pilot. I heard you're this great pilot. Well, let's show him that he's a great pilot. And then he does, and he survives. And actually, he wasn't even going to survive if Han Solo didn't save him. So it's not like he did it all on his own. A better pilot.
He had help. He's already a very talented pilot. He's familiar. I guess, I think it's a T-65B is the X-Wing class. And, it's a T-16 Skyhopper. So I'm assuming T is like the manufacturer. So it's very similar controls. He's talented. Han bails him out the last minute. He does have some
too.
Yes, he does. He is also the son of Anakin Skywalker, which we find out in the next movie. So there's an immediate address to his connection to the Force always being with him, as Obi-Wan says, Force will be with you always. It makes sense in this movie's context, and it makes sense in the trilogy context. The new stuff does not.
No.
She's just random, overpowered chick number one. She's a cheat code. She's
Game Shark the movie.
Yes, she is Rey the cheat code.
Darth Tiberius, thank you very much for your super chat. The Star Destroyer, X-Wing are some of, if not the best sci-fi ships ever created. The Imperial, ISD look amazing and certainly are intimidating. All the ships, dude, in this movie, like the main ships, I think they're all great. Even the Y-Wing, which I don't like that much, is a cool design.
No, it is cool. I mean, like I said, one of the best things I picked up recently, probably a few months ago, was the Toys R Us 30th anniversary Y-Wing. The repaint update of the original Kenner mold.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the last, like, A New Hope version they did of it. And I remember being a kid with my dad. I was like maybe 10 or 11. I'm at Toys R Us, and he was going to buy it for me because I got like an A on a report card. And for some reason, I was in a mood because we didn't eat or something, or I was just being a little dick. I don't know. I was like, no, I don't want it. That's fine. It's fine. It was like $20 on clearance. I think it's now like $150.
That's the thing with parents, though. Like, they'll try to buy you something, and you won't want it, and then you'll regret it later. That's happened with me and my mom before.
You don't want to feel like they're buying it for like, oh, I'm 11. I'm almost an adult. I can buy it for myself. Yeah, nah. So I had to pay the piper on that one. But it's a cool looking vehicle. I mean, they all get, other than one random guy, they all get shot down. One of my favorite scenes of dialogue in this movie is the entire trench run of Gold Squadron. We're too close. Stay on target. Loosen up. Ah!
And another thing, I think it was Rian Johnson himself said, "Oh, once Obi-Wan dies, Luke doesn't care." Yeah, he does. Multiple times he's shown mourning the loss of Obi-Wan Kenobi. So Rian Johnson can't even get his own shit straight in the Star Wars universe. Sorry,
Wait,
dude.
he says that?
Yeah, there's old tweets. I'm not going to be able to pull them up, but you'll have to go back and look for yourself.
God, I hate that guy.
Oh, there's Biggs. Have you seen all the early deleted scenes of Biggs?
Yes, Tashi Station.
Yeah, all that stuff. Um, it's so dumb. I'm glad it's cut out because it makes Luke look too weak. You know, they call him Wormy. Was it Cammy and Fixer make fun of him and all this shit? I don't really like it.
It's like it was like something out of American Graffiti.
Yeah.
And
Thank you,
but the
Richie
cool,
Cunningham.
yeah, exactly. I will say though, I like how in the 30th anniversary collection they did make a version of Biggs from Tashi Station.
It's the power of Star Wars. You can make action figures off shit from 30 years ago that no one really saw, but it has Star Wars on it, so people will buy it. Not anymore.
Well, here's the thing: it's from a great movie, and yet you can have the main character from a new POS movie sit on shelves for years.
Well, speaking of the POS movie, if you go back and listen to the audio novelization of The Last Jedi, Luke in the prologue has a dream about being married to Cammy and all this shit from this movie that was from a deleted scene. So they're like, it just that didn't work for me. You know, it's like that's not in the movie, it's a deleted scene. I don't really think you could take shit from a deleted scene that isn't part of the story to make it part of a future story. That just feels ultimately lazy.
Another thing that the current movies, even the prequels to it, I don't say the prequels, but the current movies definitely to a degree do. They purposely avoid the spiritual aspect of the Force. I know the midichlorian thing came in with the prequels, but there was still almost a sense of a religion, or at least some kind of a different. There's connectivity that Jedi had the other guys didn't, and they don't address that with Rey or Kylo really in the sequel trilogy. They
No,
just
because
got their stuff for plot.
there's Porkins.
Red October standing by.
Red 5 standing by. Good
Big
old
Red
Luke.
standing by. Simply Red standing by. This does look great. Way better than the original. That's one of the things.
Now, these are all original shots right here.
These ones right here.
If after they fly past Yavin, these are all original shots. So
Those don't look bad.
Yeah, they hold up great. There are a couple coming up though. I'll tell you, the CGI is so much better than was originally there. Now here on your cut, you're not going to hear music right here. Dun, 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 dun. It's going to be silent, and then it'll cut in eventually. The music before the super lasers was shown.
Yep.
Yep, that was a mistake. Again, these are all CGI shots. And I think these look great compared to what was in the original cuts. Because a lot of times they looked like the ship was just being like turned from the side to side.
Yeah.
It didn't work. Sorry,
yeah,
I'm not trying to shit on the original.
No, now it cuts in. The blaster effect too of those X-wings. I dig that.
Are you all right? Red 420 running like that. They will never come close to the dramatic tension of taking down the first Death Star. That was so epic. Corey, it was beyond being so epic just for Star Wars. I can't think of another like I can't think of another moment of tension and payoff so effective as Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like just
because I mean,
beating and everything.
Because we don't know what's gonna happen. Because I knew there was a box set, but even I wasn't thinking ahead to what the other movies were. If you watch it in order, this first movie, you don't. Fat man down. You don't know what's gonna happen next. So you're seeing this in '77. There's no trilogy planned out. It's just this movie. Yeah,
have you ever heard the audio from 1977? There's somebody recorded the audio of the audience.
I think I heard you guys talk about it on one of your watch parties of it.
Dude, it's insane because you can hear when Han Solo comes in, the entire theater erupts and cheers. Like I want to, like that's from like when I first saw the Avengers. People would cheer when the Hulk caught Iron Man when he was falling from the warp hole. I was like, Jesus, this is fun. I want this in movies, man. I hate going to a movie and walking out. Like the cool thing about a theater going experience is when you leave the theater, like everyone's one. Like you all had that same experience together, and you don't get that by watching a movie at home.
No, and here's the thing. I remember seeing Avengers in theaters, and I saw it I think 2 or 3 times. I love that movie, and I wasn't even a comic book fan. My only Marvel character I was interested in was Hulk because of the Lou Ferrigno show and Spider-Man because of Tobey Maguire. But No, I listened to the audio on that, and it was like you could feel it because you had the same reaction when you first saw it, not in a theater, but you know where they're coming from.
Oh yeah. God, the helmets on the TIE pilots are awesome too. I mean, I know they're just adaptations of the stormtroopers, but still they look great and they look
They
menacing.
are.
The new stormtroopers look so dopey. They look like chubby little
The
kids.
duck. What Michael call them? The duck troopers.
Yeah.
No, the TIE fighters too. I mean, I remember the original trilogy collection. You had the X-wing, which was a Kenner retool,
Mhm.
and the TIE fighters all Kenner retools. The pop off wings and stuff, and just redoing this entire battle. It was. I never had the Y-wing or Darth Vader's TIE fighter, so I couldn't do it perfectly. But imagination, because that's what no kids have that anymore. They have iPhones, but I had imagination. You could play it out, and it was those were cool, and just everything about this is just not. I would cut nothing out, and I
Mm-mm.
really wouldn't add much in. I wouldn't do all the changes they did to it, but overall, it's perfect. This movie is the way it is for a reason. It changed the course of a lot of things. That's why it's important.
They didn't have Y wings available when I was a kid. They had the original Y wing from what was it, the Return of the Jedi line, and then they didn't re-release it until later when I had stopped playing with Star Wars toys.
Yeah, they released one in '99 or 2000.
All from the Power of the Jedi line.
Yeah, it was essentially it was one of the ones from this movie.
That's not even a CGI shot. That cool shot of the TIE fighters from the back.
Wow.
It looks like because so many of these shots work. So many, man. I like how people complain too. A lot of the purists that complain about the color grading in this movie, how it's got more of a blue saturated hue. Yeah, it's different, but it's not enough. It's still the same movie to me.
Hey, just stay in target.
Loosen up. Lost Tyree, lost touch. Came from behind. Yeah, the
It
Smithsonian.
came from behind.
Yeah, the Library of Congress wanted a cut of the original Star Wars, and I think Lucas sent them the '97 cut, and they took it or they sent it back because they wanted the original one.
Oh, here's Captain Dickhead.
Oh yeah, General Taggy. He made it to the Christmas special. I kind of am sad when Red Leader dies. I've lost my starboard engine.
Set to point 3 and begin your attack run. Ah!
He goes out a hero, man.
Now he's in that one battle pack that comes with the service cart from Yavin, and the thing costs like $300 now. It's freaking crazy.
Yeah, the messed up
All it
part
is
is
is that
I've seen all these in person. I could have bought them, but I didn't have the money back then.
it was like $20 back in the day too. It's like you're close to you almost pull the trigger, but now it's like $300. The hell? But you don't see anything Force Awakens or Last Jedi related going for that price, and you never will. And there's a reason.
Mm-mm. You can't even
I
get the
still don't
shit. The
know.
new stuff wasn't even that much. And I'll never be
No,
able to get it.
I also don't see who in the hell ever wants to spend $300 on a service cart and 2 action figures. But still,
Some people will.
it's a New Hope. So
And even I can't justify those prices by
no,
saying
not
it's a
that.
new hope.
Now, if I hit the Powerball and World Class Bullshers has their penthouse down in Miami, and we got the Han Solo movie, then maybe. But
It's away.
it's away.
I just saw the stormtroopers like fuck. I would have hated to be a stormtrooper actor. Like, all right, Jeff, you're gonna jump into this wall and then fall down. All right. Can somebody get me up?
No, fuck you, Darth Vader. Don't do him. Don't do him in.
Now, if you pay close attention, you don't actually see his ship crash. You just see an explosion. Do, 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 do.
Another thing is like the Battle of Endor is pretty cool, but
It is.
but this one is obviously so they focus so because obviously you got the battle in over Endor, the duel, and the battle at the shield generator. This one, all you got is the attack on the Death Star. You focus on one thing, and you make it dramatic, and you make it really good.
This is the only Star Wars movie that focuses on one final thing. Because Empire has the lightsaber duel as well as the escape. Jedi, like you said, has the lightsaber duel, the ground battle, and the space battle. Episode 1 has lightsaber, ground battle, other ground battle, and space battle. You know, and then episode 2 has lightsaber duel, Clone War. And then episode 3, I take it back. Episode 3 is just the duel itself. Okay, so episode 3 goes back to that as well.
Well, no. Actually, they do cut between Yoda, Palpatine, and Vader.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Luke.
Shit. Never mind. Then it is just, and this is just the only one that has a final focused ending, and it all builds up to this. Like when I talk about this movie, man, it literally goes out with a bang, and then there's a nice resolution. Again, Dustin bitches about it because you can see his eyes right there. So, what is a happy ending? There's no such thing as happy endings. Well, yeah, there are, man.
Trust me, there are.
Yeah, don't be miserable and put that onto Star Wars. Star Wars is meant to be fun.
Just put on Goldeneye.
Yeah, that's a great movie. I haven't watched it in months, though.
It works. Watch it on October 21st, right?
No, I'll be busy. All the guys are in town for my birthday party that weekend. I'm on the leader. This is where the music gets intense, dude.
Yep, we're building up.
Sometimes I'll be driving my car and this music will come on and I start to drive really fast. I get really into it. I'm like, shit, I don't want to get a ticket 150 down a 35-mile-an-hour zone by a school. False, Luke.
Let go. Okay, like the Raiders March, the Star Wars theme, and 2 Bond songs, the main theme, and then A View to a Kill. They'll get me accelerating a little bit if they come up over the phone.
When I hear the Superman theme, I kind of perk up a little bit too. Oh, I lost R2.
Hold on, R2.
I like how C-3PO is like, oh shit, no one else cares. They're like, we're gonna die. Leia's like, well, at least we tried. Again, though, if this was a modern movie, the characters would have had to say shit like, at least we tried and blah blah blah. No, these ones just show emotions. They're like, God damn it, we're done. That's what needs to be.
At least one of our pilots was a transgender Asian.
Yeah, equality in battle.
Oh,
I have you now.
Perfect. I have you now. What? Yahoo! This is the best 30 seconds in cinema.
Star Wars doesn't become cliched. This always works. It just always works.
Almost makes you want to drop $79 on a TIE fighter.
No, not that much. I got to remember who's in charge nowadays. If it was Lucas, maybe, but no, not anymore, man. I'd rather drop $79 on lighting equipment for the channel.
There you go.
Jeff, have you seen Star Wars Gangster Rap? Maybe a long time ago. Unless it's the old one.
Oh, God, I just realized T-3PO's goony-ass run.
I just love how Han's like, ah!
Does Luke call her Carrie?
No, that's just an online thing. He just goes, hey! When we hit 1 million subscribers for the channel, I'm going to rent out a place and we're going to reenact this scene. You know what scene I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Again, this music is amazing as well. Luke gets a whole new outfit. Han gets a new shirt.
What's Chewie get? Chewie don't get shit.
He got a bath. I know Harrison Ford doesn't really care about this movie that much, but if he's being honest with himself, the first time he probably saw this, like completed, he probably thought to himself, damn, this works. Because if you're making it, I get it. All the pieces are, broken. Like when I'm doing this comic book, I'm looking at the script and I'm doing the black and white line art, but then you get the colors back and then you'll get the letters on it and stuff. You're like, damn, this all came together. So it's like, it's a collaborative process and you don't, aren't responsible for every piece. So I'm sure he had to be at least impressed.
From what I've heard about him personally, he's the guy who's a star who really doesn't care about being one. He likes being in movies, but he was fully prepared just to be a guy who wasn't famous and didn't have all this going on. I think that's why. He knows he just doesn't want to play off it, Well,
like Grant Smith Base says, this movie made Harrison Ford. It did. Luckily he has other shit. Indiana Jones and all those other successful.
It was not Apocalypse Now that made him. It was not Apocalypse Now.
It wasn't American Graffiti either, or Dead Heat on the Merry-Go-Round, which was his first film. It was Star Wars, and I know he doesn't want to be called Han Solo or kidnapped and forced to remake Star Wars in the basement, but
damn it, he did.
It is. It's happening, and this is his legacy, along with Mark Hamill and everyone else involved. This movie was so big and caught everybody by storm.
I mean, this is perfect.
Yeah. Has Harrison Ford ever watched this movie? In your comic, you should force him to watch it. I'm sure he's seen Star Wars. He went to a 30th anniversary screening for Empire Strikes Back. Him and Peter Mayhew, Billy D. Williams, they all showed up for that. So I don't think he wants to talk to the fans about it, but I'm sure he'll go do shit. He's in all the documentaries that George Lucas put together for the DVDs. And
he's in Empire for Dreams.
He's
Dreams.
there. Oh, now we're in the credits. In high school, I used to make little like short movies as a joke, and in the credits, I was always put, and James Earl Jones is the voice of Darth Vader. Like I'd have all the credits, and it would roll down like, and James Earl Jones is the voice of Darth Vader, and people would be like, "What?" And that would make me laugh. That's all I cared about.
Now, I think one thing that Star Wars has missed since this movie and Empire is Gary Kurtz.
Oh yeah, man.
As he was only involved in those first two.
Yeah, he quit for Jedi, and Jedi definitely shows a decline in quality.
Film editors: Paul Hirsch, Marshall Lucas, Richard
Chew. Yeah, man, they all won Oscars. I think everyone got an Oscar that was nominated except Lucas.
Chew me? Really? Mm-hmm. And there's McQuarrie. I hear you tapping that thing out.
I know, right? That's way too much.
This movie this is Star Wars, okay? It's not New Hope, it's not Episode 4. It's not. If you had to choose one Star Wars movie to exist on its own, it's this movie.
Yeah, so
you need context for Empire. You need context for Return. Yeah. You need context for the prequels to even exist. This is the one movie that stands alone and stands tall as just a monument to. Speechless. I don't even know what else to say. It's a monument.
I like how people are saying, "Are we going to watch Empire Strikes Back next?" No, I have to get up for Good Morning Pop Culture. I mean, if I do Empire, there's no show tomorrow. So, and then if there's Empire, then I might have to watch Return of the Jedi, and then it's like 3 a.m, and I'm burnt out, and I'm watching Star Wars, drinking cups of coffee, and make my life a living hell. Sorry, that's
put it to a vote. GMPC or the entire OT tonight?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I have it at my fingertips. Let's see. Somebody says, I can't decide which is more perfect, the OG Star Wars or Back to the Future. Well, much like Star Wars, Back to the Future, in my opinion, is best watched as the single film only, and then the rest is left up to your imagination. I like Back to the Future too, much like I like Empire and Return of the Jedi, but Back to the Future, man, just works so much better. It's like roads, where we're going, we don't need roads, and then he does the glasses and they just fly off to anywhere, whatever. Your kids, and that's it. I think Back to the Future 2 being a direct sequel, or having Jennifer get in the car, like Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale said, had they had a sequel in mind, Jennifer wouldn't have been in the DeLorean. But they have to write her out of the script right away because they can't have her going around Doc and Marty knowing about the time machine. So if you're just taking the first two films, they're neck and neck for me, 10 out of 10s. They're both. Here's the thing about Back to the Future and Star Wars: memorable, iconic imagery, great dialogue, great cast, great music. All that stuff just works. Now, Star Wars is more timeless than Back to the Future, but because Back to the Future takes place in '85, it was made in '85. It can never become dated. So maybe it could
Well,
be.
look at that. Digital production assistants, Keela Hicks.
Yeah, it's my
Yeah.
cousin. That's why I like Star Wars so much.
When's the last time for a movie you set the entire credits? This is not a Marvel movie.
I actually watch the credits for Star Wars every time. Every time. It's not every once in a while. It's just I like the music that much. What other films do I watch the credits for? I don't really watch. I only watch the credits for Marvel movies when they're new. I don't do post-credit sequences after I've seen these movies. Sorian Sky says Alan Ladd Jr. is an unsung hero of A New Hope. Yeah, I believe Alan Ladd Jr. offered a lot of unwavering support to Lucas when the board wanted to just cancel his movie or cut funding
I
or
think
whatever.
it lost him a lot of favoritism with some of the upper ups there, even though the movie turned out to be great.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars is the big one, man. I get excited even talking about something that was out way before I was born, and in many ways, Star Wars had kind of petered out. The weird thing is about Star Wars too is for as big as it got right away, it did die out right after Return of the Jedi. I mean, the toy line made it to 1985, and the only reason I believe Star Wars petered out the way it did was because there was so much other great entertainment out there. Plus, Lucas had Indiana Jones to work on, other pieces of movie making technology. You go back to like 1982, June of '82, there were like 3 or 4 movies that are iconic that came out within the same month, like The Thing, E.T., and Blade Runner all came out within like 2 or 3 weeks of each other. So in the '80s, we had iconic movie after iconic movie.
And don't forget iconic cartoons. You had G.I. Joe, Transformers.
Oh yeah, kids' imaginations were on the small screen too. Nowadays, I don't really have kids, so I don't know how they consume cartoons, but they're not on broadcast TV anymore. So you kind of have to have cable if your kids want to watch cartoons.
They're probably not as high quality, but there was more things to compete, and I'm sure you know about how Kenner had created their entire own original story to like a sequel.
Oh yeah,
trilogy to just do toys.
Let's see. Are you, EVS, and Jeremy going to do a solo movie commentary? Yes, we are. That'll be on my channel because I had The Last Jedi, Jeremy had The Force Awakens, Ethan had the holiday special, and then it rotates back to me. So I've chosen to do solo. If they want to do an Ewok one before we all get solo, that's cool. But solo is going to be here on World Class Bullshitters. That's mine. And then after we get through solo, I guess Jeremy will get Rogue One. And then Ethan can pick which prequel movie he wants to do. If he wants to start with 3 and work his way back to 1, or start with 1 and work to 3, that's Ethan's choice. But yeah, we're going to do more High Council Star Wars. And I'll do more Star Wars with the guys here on the channel because it's fun to watch the High Council stuff, but it's also fun to have a different take with different people. Hell, in the future, I may invite you guys on. Like if you can pass the Star Wars quiz that I put on the Facebook page or whatever in record time, we'll have you on and we'll have 3 people on for that evening, and we'll do a 4-man booth or 4-person booth. There are women that listen to this show, 5%, but still, there are ladies out there that like the show.
What's the first question on the exam? Who is the Ewok chief?
Oh, it's going to all be about the Star Wars flick that we watch. So I'll ask oddly specific questions. They may be production behind the scenes questions. And here's the thing: you won't have time to Google this shit either. So basically, you'll have an open line of communication. I'm like, all right, I'm going to send you an email at, say, 10:46, and you respond. I'll figure it out, but I do want to have people on. I like the community growing and getting more invested. So let's see. Solo was okay. Obo Soilo. Yeah, well, here's the thing.
Is Solo on Netflix by chance or no?
It hasn't even hit Blu-ray yet. It comes out on Tuesday.
Oh, shit. Well, yeah. I'm not going to pay to see it.
Yeah, it's okay at best. I think I gave it a 5 or a 4.
Would you pair up with something like Rogue One? Okay, if it was not Alden Ehrenreich, would you pair the story and the action and its continuity to Star Wars like with a Rogue One kind of deal? Or is it more towards a Force Awakens to you? What's it closer to, Rogue One or Force Awakens?
Well, here's the thing. It's in a weird medium because Force Awakens, the callbacks offend me and piss me off because of the laziness of the films. But with Solo, um, like Alden Ehrenreich tries, but he fails to be Han Solo, and it's not even like a funny attempt. It's kind of like a. I almost have sympathy for him in this movie because, uh,
Impossible task.
yeah, this was meant to be like his big break. Probably in the back of his mind, he's thinking, "I'm in Star Wars. I'm Han Solo. I'm going to really open the door." And he's forgettable at best, and you know, it's just a problem. I don't dislike him as a person. I actually was okay with his casting when they first announced it because I'm thinking, man, I like Hail Caesar. He was the best part. I get the swashbuckling nature, but then under the thumb of Kathleen Kennedy, you get that movie because she doesn't know what she's doing. She's a financier, a legal person, a producer or executive producer.
She's
Let
the
her
money.
executive
She's the
produce.
money.
She's the money. She's the Vesper Lind of. Well, she's not that hot, but the point is,
Yeah,
let her stick with that.
she ain't talking about Alden's perfectly shaped ass or the hell she says in that movie.
Let's see. Star Wars gave birth to ILM, and since then, movies have been better. Well, most movies. Yeah, and then you had Richard Edlund go off and do his own studio, and he did a lot of 70 millimeter optical effects, which really hold up well today. Star Wars, the first one, everything that spawned from it was good. You had a great saga that was spawned from it, great line of toys, great groundbreaking effects, a new excitement for outer space and fantasy and genre stuff. So Star Wars probably had the most positive outcome of any film ever. Like even its imitators helped expand the world of science fiction.
I mean, it revolutionized it. It was the next great fantasy you could get lost in, but find meanings and callbacks applied to reality in a way. And it was just pure enjoyment. There was no critics had to go on this and make talking points about politics.
Mm-mm.
It was just what it was.
Someone said, "Would you be willing to ever watch the original Stargate movie?" Yeah, I've never seen it, but it's Kurt Russell and what? Oh God, what's his name? James Spader. I'd watch it. I'd have Dion involved. Dion likes way more sci-fi than I do, so you guys definitely want him around. I like Alden's performance as young Han better than Donald's Pando Lando. That's hey, you know what, Reese? It's your own opinion to have, and I may not disagree with you. So if you don't sleep with your fist balled up at night, so it's not a bad movie. It's not great either, but I don't know how I sleep with my fists. Are they balled up or I don't know. I'm asleep. I don't know these things, man.
Who knows what happens with the hands?
Yeah, I'm smacking fools. I don't know. It's not how I talk. It's not me. So, Trent, was your birthday stream worth it?
Yes, it was. I didn't even. I actually talked so much I couldn't even drink that much. That's how good it was.
Well, then keep chugging along. Chug a beer, man. No, don't. You do you the way you want on your birthday. If I was there with you, I'd be like, all right, now it's time to learn from the master.
Well, I got all the teaching utensils here. I think I got the teacher edition of Fireball because this is almost an entire fifth. So,
I do enjoy Fireball a lot.
I mean, I like mixing my drinks with Diet Coke, but Pepsi and Fireball, it really goes good.
Do you think
Hell,
Kira was
straight
trained by
is
Darth?
good.
Yeah, I can drink it straight. Oh, let's see. Do you think Kira was trained by Darth Maul that might have explained her martial arts skills? Probably. I didn't really have a problem with Kira as a character. I knew she was going to be conflicted and not be able to be with Han, but I didn't think that Darth Maul would be involved in the story. 6 turning, 4 burning. Thank you very much for your super chat. Happy B-Day, Trent.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Darth Maul. So what are they exactly going to do with that reveal? Nothing, because Solo was a fucking failure. And
that was meaningless, essentially. They just stuck his ass in there and left everything open for interpretation. No, it'll probably be a comic book or a novel.
Imagine if in a couple months they're like, Solo has shipped 12 million Blu-rays. That means you produced 12 million and you shipped them to stores. Oh, dude, wouldn't you love if like they tried to double ship Blu-rays to like Best Buy, and Best Buy's like, we're not taking extra copies of Star Wars, and they ship them back to the store or the warehouse. Like, dude, Lucasfilm would have that's like Marvel Comics level shit. That'd be embarrassing.
That would be. It's possible. It'd also be possible if you ship that Millennium Falcon my way. That'd be cool.
Well, Kevin Garnett says anything is possible. That's one thing that can't happen because that Falcon
Uh,
belongs to me. There is no game of Sebek that we could play that you could possibly win.
no game of Sabak, no game of Baccarat. Okay, well,
No, no Shemaine Defer, no Texas Hold'em.
blackjack.
No, nothing, man.
Damn it.
I'll will it to you. So when you're old and you've bought your own, and then I die because we're only 8 years apart, I will make sure that you get an extra one. My kids won't want Star Wars stuff.
They will if they watch this movie first. Do it right. Raise them right, Jeff.
I will raise them right, but I don't know if I can just bring some Star Wars kids around. They'll just be like, "Hey, kids, you like what you like." I'll just make sure I keep them away from episodes 7, 8, and 9.
Yes, because we already know 9's going to be a dumpster fire.
I just don't want contraband in my home.
Now, drugs, no, but definitely no Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Yeah, no Rey, no Kylo Ren, none of that happy horse shit. In my own home, Martha? I'm not gonna marry a woman named Martha, just on principle. Why'd you say that name?
She's grounded, Riggs. We caught Rand smoking pot in the house and watching episode 7. But that's why she's grounded.
Nice reference. Let's see. Somebody in the chat said, "Could you show the Millennium Falcon you have?" I will show you a picture of what one looks like. I won't show you mine. Oh, Trent, by the way, rebelscum.com has a retrospective on the original trilogy's first DVD release.
Yeah, I was checking that out. I remember I was reading it. It was cool reading the guy's thing about it. It was very similar to how I felt about it. He had the widescreen release though, so like I had to watch it. I had to adjust my TV picture to get to focus right. But no, that was cool. That was cool. Seeing the poster for the launch. I remember just seeing commercials, but the commercial I remember seeing actually, I think they ran 2 of them. One was a promotion for the DVD trilogy. At the very end, they mentioned Star Wars Battlefront. And the one was just a video game trailer. At the end, they said, "Oh, buy the collection on DVD." That was a time where, like I said, they were trying to get hype up for episode 3 because 1 and 2 were at that point the 2 biggest. Financially, I don't think they were failures, but they were like critically failures in that regard for Star Wars. They wanted it to because I firmly believe episode 3 stands toe to toe with Return of the Jedi. I personally feel that way. It's a different angle because it's a prequel movie, but I feel it's a great movie. And they were trying to hype up because they knew they finally had something decent for the prequels, and they wanted to hype up the original feel in Darth Vader, and you want to know how it's gonna end. He becomes Vader. So they really from 2004 through 5, they really hit Star Wars on a high note. And I think I came in at one of the times. I think there's 3 great times to be a Star Wars fan. That was between 77 and 83, 95 and 99, and 2004 and like 2005, 6.
Yeah,
I came in at that last benchmark. And we got some cool collectibles and Clone Wars stuff from 06 through like 2010, 11, and 12, but that's about it.
The crazy thing about episode 3 was we all knew Star Wars was over, but none of us, at least the people I experienced it with and have talked to back then, nobody was upset. People were happy with the movie, and they're like, Star Wars is done. Now we have the complete saga. And it felt natural. It didn't feel like maybe one day. It was just like, that's it. And it was cool. Now, folks out there that were wondering about that Millennium Falcon I'm talking about, this is it. This is the one Trent. It was originally $159. Trent wants one. It's now, what, $500?
Actually, no, they were 500. Now it's looking at about 650, 700. I think I wait for the right person wanting to dump one off. I don't want to get one that's used without the box. I want one that's at least with this original box and pretty decent,
No, mine
no
does
bite
not
marks
have,
on it.
Mine doesn't have the box. Sorry.
Well, no, I don't really care about. I mean, like someone like I don't want like. Well, you didn't play it around and suck on it and lose missiles and stick like blasters up your nose. I get that. I'm seeing like something that a kid played with and all of a sudden it's missing shit. But I just want one that's in good shape.
I don't think many kids had this toy. Let's be honest with ourselves. $159 is a hard sell. This is a lot of grown-ups that were like, I'm going to buy this for myself, you know. But there it is. That thing is gigantic. And it is an excellent toy. The hatch opens up with 4 seats. There's a button that makes sounds there. This button right here in the middle that shoots the missile makes sounds. There's a switch over here that moves the gun turret and it plays sounds. You press this little knob right here in, and it'll do the whole lightsaber scene about stretch out your feelings and stuff. And it moves the radar dish.
You know, I have the funds available, but I don't want to go to my savings account just to buy it for like $600.
Don't do it. It's
I'm
a
not
cool
going to.
toy. It's an awesome toy. I'm not going to lie to you, but it's not worth that kind of money, man.
As soon as you do it, life kicks you in the balls, and you actually need that for something else.
Yeah, well, is it too tight around the cockpit? No. I mean, you can fit a Chewbacca, Han. You can fit everybody in there. So it is better. If the cockpit's slightly out of proportion, but other than that, it's a fantastic toy. Oh, and Trent, when you press the button, the landing gear comes down. It has a light on it. And it makes a sound too.
God, you're killing me. Okay, I was tempted last night, and I'm getting tempted tonight to buy a Millennium Falcon. Two different things that were tempting, but this I can actually buy this. So damn it, damn it,
Yeah,
damn it,
no,
damn it.
check out the inside too. Like, so it's got the little chair for Han. This lights up. Not this, but the training ball moves. The table lights up, and it'll say like, "Let the Wookiee win," and Chewbacca goes "Roar," and all this other shit. And then you can even reenact the Empire Strikes Back scenes. It has the medical bay for where Luke is missing his hand, and all that shit. So they kind of got it covered as a.
Can you imagine what would have happened if they re-released that ship for The Force Awakens with an interchangeable dish and 4 characters like old Han and Rey, and then Chewie and young Han?
It would have
How that would
been
have
a
sold.
big seller because
I would have bought it and just dumped the other shit like in a bag and tucked it away.
this is the best Star Wars toy ever made. I know some people get nostalgic for the original stuff. I get it. I get nostalgic for old stuff too. But
No,
I
it's
think
like the
this one,
original trilogy collection of Millennium Falcon. I love that damn thing. It's on display. It's not like a great spot, but it stays out because that's my first Star Wars toy. I bought it the day after watching this movie. Well, I didn't buy it, but I begged and pleaded to get it bought for me, and I probably achieved that. I guess I'm a good smooth talker, but it's a Reese Kenner mold, and the Power of the Force mold is better. The cockpit always bothered me because you could barely fit 2 people in there. But you know what? It means a lot to me. But oh yeah, this thing kicks its ass.
somebody said the med bay wasn't on the Falcon; it was on the Nebulon B frigate, where Luke Skywalker laid down and had that thing on his hand, and Princess Leia rubbed his face. Is what I'm talking about. So that's on this toy. It's in the movie too.
Hey,
That
hey,
little bed thing
hey,
he lays in.
hey, no, it is on the ship. I think Lando actually puts him in there. But here's the thing. Yeah, don't. Yeah, she better just rub his face because you guys are gonna be sisters, brother and sister in the next movie. So
Let's see. There are photos of it somewhere with Luke in it, but hold on. I know what I'll do. We'll go to
no,
the.
when Lando gets him from the hatch, they escort him to this little because it's the same med bay on the Falcon where Chewie goes if he gets shot in the arm and Finn's taking care of him in
Yeah.
Force Awakens.
Oh no, I
So
wasn't
yeah,
gonna. I wasn't gonna pull up pictures from the movie. I was gonna pull up. There's another photo gallery of the Falcon re-release. I'll just show you guys what I'm talking about there.
oh, that's the Toys R Us one that came in the vintage box.
Yeah, I remember seeing that at the store, thinking, "Oh man, that's so cool." But I already got one, so it doesn't matter to me. Had I
Yeah, I
had
don't
the
care which
extra
version
cash,
I get.
though, had I had the extra cash, I would have bought another one and kept it in the box. Come on, load. This website is so slow. Vehicles and creatures. So, folks, this is rebelscum.com. This is probably one of the better Star Wars toy archives out there. So, if you're interested in learning about what is what, I spent a lot of time reading this in grade school and high school. So, that's where I got a lot of my knowledge as a kid.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time since Rogue One, and then getting back into decent era of Star Wars on those sites. And my bank account says that's a bad idea, but it's a very good resource.
Okay, so let's see. Millennium Falcon, Toys R Us exclusive. So, yeah, these have better photographs. It's the same ship from before. But let's see. Oh yeah, they updated it with. So here it is with some A New Hope figures, or not A New Hope, some Empire Strikes Back figures. It won't for some reason. This one I'm talking about the medical bay where Luke lays down. Thank you, rebelscum.com, for your slow server speed. It's not like I have a live show with hundreds of people watching that would like to know what's going on. They're like, Jeff, what is this? This is some Star Wars stuff.
It's going to cost you an arm and a leg and possibly a relationship, but it
Yeah.
might be worth it.
There it goes. It finally loaded. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah, see this little area where Luke, you can even plug in the tourniquet thing that came with this other Luke Skywalker figure. So yeah, it has this little medical bay area. Oh yeah, Trent, look at how it lights up too.
Let me check out my screen. Oh, go to hell.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And it even has a fail, the startup sound that fails. It's like, so every couple times you try to turn it on, it fails like in the movie.
Oh,
Man, there's Han
fans,
and Chewbacca.
fans, if you want to make my birthday really special, let's get those. Who wants a super chat me $500?
A Millennium Falcon.
Who wants a super chat this guy, Millennium Falcon? Here's the worst thing too, Jeff. This DVD release, the menu for the movie is the Falcon and the Death Star hangar bay. So I'm just staring at essentially the box art to this damn thing the whole time you're talking. And it's like, oh God, I'll lose my willpower.
Does this make you even more jealous?
Let me see. Wait, what's
I was saying, looking at this, you're just like, man, I would love to have this to reenact.
I'm looking at it right now, and I mean, I know Ethan loves pie and roast Tico, but there is nothing like this.
No, there's nothing like the Millennium Falcon. What year was this made? This was originally released in 2008, then re-released in 2012, I think.
Yeah.
So it's the same release, or it's the same ship, just different releases. This is good quality. That's more Han Solo than the Solo movie. That's why so many people were pissed off when that movie came out, man. I mean, Disney has the resources and the know-how to do all this stuff, but they took the lazy approach.
Yeah, they did. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of.
That's crazy. I actually had the training on the Falcon battle pack, but I don't have the actual Falcon.
Let's see. I have to ask, as I really haven't seen your guys' opinion on this, but what do you guys think of the Star Wars additions in theme parks? I went a month ago and the construction looked awesome. Boom 1327. I live in Ohio, so it's very far from Disney. I'm not a Disney park guy. I like Universal Studios more than I like Disney. And if you're excited for this stuff, more power to you. I'm not one to try to tear down a fun time. But me personally, I may never go. I don't even go to Disney ever. Unless I had like a girlfriend or I had kids and a family that wanted to go. I'm just not a Disney guy.
Yeah, I never went. I never had no grandparents ever took me down to Disney World or Disneyland. I just if it's cool, it's cool. It's what it is, but I had no urge to go.
You know, Trent, if I'm ever out and I find one of these Millennium Falcons at a decent price, I will contact you and I'll pick it up for you and you can just buy it from me later. Like if I find one for what? Would you pay $300?
I think I go up to 400. But
I'm just trying.
cool.
Oh, that's your price range. Okay, well, I'm just saying if I find somebody that's gonna move one, I'll keep you in mind, man.
Jeff, you are the man. I raise this glass to you.
Well, I'm gonna raise this empty paper cup to you, and there you go. That had coffee in it. So, folks, do you think we should end it, Trent, or do we have anything else? Trent, it's your birthday, man. Do you have anything else you want to say to the listeners out there? Listeners, do you have anything you want to say about Star Wars to us before we close this out? I mean, got a couple more
minutes. Let's give the listeners a few more minutes. I'm good. I've relived a 14-year-old memory once again with this great community and this great movie. But let's see what the fans have to say. Any last words?
While we wait, I'm going to pull up something from the original Star Wars toy line that a lot of people probably don't know about. I'm not saying the people here aren't Star Wars fans. I don't want this one. I wanted Kenner. Where'd you at, Kenner? There we go. Older companies, no longer with us. I really do take pleasure knowing that Star Wars toys were all designed right by my house. Like, you have no idea how much I enjoy that. Come on,
Thank you,
load.
Dennis.
Let's see. Speculation on what could possibly make Star Wars made. Oh, sorry. Speculation on what could possibly be made to revive Star Wars after Episode 9. I don't. Oh man. I think you need a
Movie
break.
set during the Clone Wars. That's it.
Obi-Wan Kenobi film.
I don't think that Old Republic is popular enough. I know there's a strong fan base or portion of it that does love those games. I never played them. I don't think it's as widely known. I think anything set in a different galaxy or sequel would be too different. It wouldn't resonate unless it was done very, very, very good, like this one was. I think it's got to be clone. It's got to be set somewhere in between 1 and 6, or right after 6, or something completely just like, I don't know, some kind of weird ass. They run into like a black hole in the middle of space, and they go back to the end of Return of the Jedi, and the sequel trilogy never happened. Maybe that.
That'd be fun. That'd be admitting guilt though on their end.
Yeah, it'd have to be someone else's control at that point.
I was trying to show the listeners how crazy the old Death Star playset was. Let's see, here we go. I just wanted to show this. Have you ever seen this before, Trent?
Yeah, actually, there was actually a listing on eBay. There was like no reserve, and it was like a nearly complete one, like for like $50. But I didn't want to put any more money on.
This is my Star Wars collectible that I want to buy. I will, down the road, after I move and get some stuff established, pretty much put it like this. Once all my student debt's paid off and I got some money to play around with, a brand new one of these will be added to my collection down the road. Because this, to me, is like the coolest Star Wars playset ever made. It looks hokey, but I mean, imagine being a kid back then. You have everything. You got the cannon at the top to fight against the TIE or the X-wing. You have the rope to swing across. You have the hangar area where they fought, and then you have the trash compactor, and you have an elevator that goes to the top, and you have the area, the tractor beam area. So I mean, for 1979, this pretty much covered it all. It's so crazy that they had all this cool shit back in the day, but we never got like big play sets in the 90s.
Yeah,
that pisses me off.
It's something. It's something that they really, I mean, they went all out for what they could do at the time. They
did, man. Nothing but respect for the old Kenner stuff. Nothing but respect for the old Star Wars stuff. It's a bygone thing. I guess at times you just gotta let it go. It's funny, they want to tell us to, kill or forget the past, kill it if you let go of the past, kill it if you have to, type of thing. Well, I don't think they want us to let go of the past or kill it, because they're gonna lose out on so much money if they can't milk Darth Vader and all this other shit,
Yeah, because they can't create anything better. I don't know if anyone can, but people that know what they're doing can create stuff on par or continue it. Their biggest thing was they forgot this sequel trilogy is supposed to be a continuation of the Skywalker trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
They did a reboot, essentially.
They did, and it was lazy and stupid. And the Power of the Force 2 was... Sorry, I just pulled up. I was trying to show one more thing, too, because Trent, I don't know if you've ever seen this. So I told you I grew up with the Power of the Force 2 line.
Right, I have probably 75% of that line.
Do you have any of the play sets?
I do not. I'm aware of a few of them. There's like there's the one they swing across, and there's the detention block.
The detention block. I've seen that a bunch. I've never purchased it, but I kind of want one for the hell of it.
I've seen one for like $25, and it was tempting.
Have you ever seen this Mos Eisley Cantina mail away?
I think I have.
The Jabba the Hutt's palace is cool too. You and I could talk toys for 12 hours. We don't have time. Show the Star Destroyer. It looks just as weird. Yeah, the Star Destroyer toy is a pretty weird looking collectible from back in the day.
What I ended up doing was I just took a spot of shelf space, and I set up, those original trilogy collection cantina sections. You know what I'm talking about, right? Took those, got to the 30th anniversary guys with the rounded ones, set up the bar, used the backdrop for the Power of Force 2 Cantina Aliens pack, and then a few like miscellaneous little table things, and minus the thing in the middle, which is important. I did set up a Cantina thing just for my display and I own every figure that goes in the Cantina that they've made, Hasbro's made. and it's a pretty. I'll just send you a picture. It does look. It's decent. It's not like a master diorama or anything, but it does the job. Represents the scene pretty well.
So he says, if they kill the past, doesn't that mean corporate suicide for a company model? You're supposed to learn from the past to create a great future. Yeah, heroic Nyko, you're right. Plus, to kill the past, literally with Star Wars means to kill all your marketable shit. You could sell a Darth Vader figure until the end of the time, or until the end of time. You can't sell Kylo Ren or what's his face, Cassian Andor when they're still current. So that is the dumbest message to put in a Star Wars flick. It goes against their business model, and it's antagonistic towards the consumers.
Let's be honest. I mean, they kill their past. I mean, they don't have a future because they have no creative talent. I mean, they're not producing new stuff. Like one thing that really pissed me off was okay. I've never been a big comic book reader. I first got introduced to Batman with Batman '89 in the original four in the '89 through '97 movies. Loved them. I appreciate the comic books. I understand the story arcs pretty good. Going back and just reading up the synopsises of them. With Marvel, it was Spider-Man and the Incredible Hulk TV show. And then, of course, got MCU with Iron Man and been a fan since then. But I'm not a big comic book guy. Never have been. Don't pretend to be. I got comic packs of Star Wars, which was I'm talking about, right, Jeff?
Mm-hmm.
Got a few of those. One thing I wanted to get, especially after seeing this channel and hearing everyone talk about comic books, I knew the Marvel mainline stuff was pretty much crap. I wanted to maybe pick up something Star Wars. I saw that Marvel was doing a Darth Vader line. I said, okay, the one thing they cannot screw up, Darth Vader. Okay, I'll pick up an issue. It was okay. Star Wars after Revenge of the Sith. It goes along, and some of it just gets really stupid. But one thing that really pissed me off was they did an annual, which is not part of the storyline, but it's in the continuity. So it's part of it. It was about, I think, Vader's interactions with Tarkin after he became Darth Vader. And they had it to where they were boasting about the Death Star and the power and doing some stuff, and Vader was aware of it and was protesting against it. And they cut to the scene where Lyra Urso, Galen's wife, is in a cave doing some research for Galen. And an Imperial Death Star droid approaches her and tells her about the Death Star and what their intentions are, and gives a plan readout for Galen to look at and manipulate. And there's a weakness he can exploit if he does this design change. And they ask, who sent you? Who sent me is not important. Give this to your husband. Create the flaw. Essentially, it was insinuating that after an argument with Tarkin and his dismissal of the power of the Force, Darth Vader takes the plans, gives them to Lyra Urso, gives to Galen to program the exhaust port flaw in the Death Star.
I don't like
How
that at all.
How stupid is that? That he rigged the own destruction of the Death Star.
No, thank you.
You know who wrote that annual?
Who?
Charles Chucky Windig.
Wow, why am I not surprised that a completely terrible Star Wars storyline came from that guy?
That makes absolutely no sense to anyone that knows Star Wars in any capacity. Even Pablo Hidalgo, who's doing stuff, even he knows that's bullshit.
I guess he does, but it's just the way things are, man. It's the way things are. The people that are making Star Wars know less about it, and they're so antagonistic towards the fans. Maybe if you would have brushed up on your history of Star Wars, you wouldn't have done something so stupid.
Yeah, you know what? As long as we look at what George Lucas, who said he made some errors with the special editions, no doubt. But if we look at Star Wars, those 6 core movies, the story it told, if we can accept that that's all we're given, that's of good quality, we'll be okay. It's the need to have, because when Disney bought Star Wars, my reaction was, oh, maybe Lucas is on board. Maybe they're going to give us some expanded stuff. Maybe sequel to, the Skywalker trilogy. Want something good, obviously. Well, we're not going to get that, apparently. George ain't buying it back. Iger's covering for Kathleen's ass. Maybe a favor to Frank Marshall. Who knows? There was a deflection. They're slowing down the pace. They're not changing. I don't think there was any mention of the quality of the movies. It was just the frequency that was the issue. So It's not going to change people. Unfortunately, it's not going to change the quality, which is the important thing, is the quality. If we can just be satisfied with the fan base, all of us, people that like The Force Awakens to a degree or liked Solo or hate it, whatever, if we as a fan base can kind of come together and say, you know what, Star Wars is episodes 1 through 6. It's a story of Darth Vader's rise and fall and his family's the birth of his family and their legacy in the galaxy as Skywalkers. If we can accept that as those 6 movies and the TV series of Clone Wars in between, and that's it, and let sleeping dogs lie, as they say, that takes away Disney's power because no one's gonna want new Star Wars. No one's gonna be. It's like, hey, we're good. We've had our cake. We've ate it too. We don't want it. No one will go to it. On top of that, lack of interest, the continued lack of quality will contribute to that failure, and it will dry up and it will be gone. It'll be shelved permanently. Sort of like thankfully Back to the Future has been, and is left to be its own iconic piece of cinema. We just need I think the fan base being a little bit greedy for more, which they honestly should be. They should have wanted the sequel trilogy to be a good, faithful extension of what we just saw here tonight, watching this movie. But it wasn't because it was Disney and it got bastardized and screwed over. But if we can just accept that it's these 6 movies and that's it, they can't ruin these. What they do in the future might be based off this. If you try to connect it, yeah, it ruins it or hurts it. If we just look at these 6 movies, they're not getting changed.
Yeah. Dude, I'm with you right there, man. There's magic with Star Wars, and a lot, like I said in the beginning, people care about this stuff. That's why people aren't going to just roll over and take it. I think there's a bigger fight in entertainment that's happening right now, and thankfully, people aren't just rolling over and taking it. If you want to call it the influx of SJWs or lazy corporate greed or a lack of originality with constant reboots or remakes, you're kind of being hit as a movie fan from all aspects. And the few things that are original or have a smidge of originality left, like the MCU, are being bastardized by ideologies that just don't work. It happened to Star Wars. It's happening to Marvel. So hold your ground. Believe in what you love in terms of entertainment, and prop up the good stuff. Ignore the bad stuff, because if all people talk about is the good stuff, and then eventually, much like Freddy Krueger in one of the Nightmare on Elm Streets, people forgot about him. They stopped talking about him. He had no power in the dream world. So we can really stop worrying about Disney Star Wars when it comes out. Wait 2 or 3 weeks to see it in theaters. Let them scramble, and then go see the film if you have to see it on a bargain Tuesday and watch Disney Star Wars crumble. All the hubris and ego in the world cannot make up for a box office flop, and you guys have the power. I'll never advocate that you boycott a film because you got to make up your own mind, but I will strongly suggest that you wait till a second weekend to really hit them where it hurts. In their dicks. Sorry, that's a line from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So, Trent, I'm going to close this baby out because it's late. I want to get some sleep. I've had a long-ass day. Do you have anything you want to say in closing?
May the Force be with you.
All right. Well, you heard it there, folks. May the Force be with you. Sorry, I had something pop up my Facebook that caught my attention. So, guys, I'll be back later with more. Be prepared for the next couple days because I've written out a well-thought-out and recorded response to Captain Marvel, the whole smiling controversy. So that's the next fight for entertainment right now. They're trying to turn superhero entertainment into a sexism war. And, as long as you treat men and women equal in real life and treat everybody with respect, all those bullshit arguments that these people want to make up on the internet aren't real. So, just go out there, be decent, and have a good night.